before we get to the video, please like, comment, subscribe, share it to that uncle who's a communist. And if he isn't, he will be.
Don't forget to follow us on Patreon at patreon.com/revolutionaryrhetoric. And Revolutionary Rhetoric is an affiliate of the Anti-Capitalist Podcast Network.
All right, let's get to the video. Hey guys, didn't see you there. Literally, I'm just looking at a camera. Anyways, ignore me. I want to show off our new patches that we have for a limited time, and they are free. That's right, but for the first 10 people that send us an inquiry, and we only ask two things: proof that you're subscribed to our YouTube, and you're subscribed either to our Instagram or TikTok. You can send your images to revolutionaryrhetoric@gmail.com, and we only have about 10 of them, so better hurry up before they run out.
Like the hardest part is when we do videos, like if we do like a video commentary, and then because Kanan has a really bad habit of wanting to stop the video every 10 seconds, and so when I'm editing the audio version, I have to find where like we stop and start, and like dude, like that AI video is such a pain in the ass.
I know, I had to do that myself too. I have to do the audio.
Yeah, you have to do the same thing. Yeah.
Yeah, it sucks ass. But like, I want to stop and talk about what we just saw. It's kind of like the video is going on and we're talking over it, but then we're missing the video. You know what I mean?
I guess the only way you can do it is if you're just live streaming it and you don't have any other.
That's what we used to do. We used to do that with, it was all one line into OBS. So our audio was in OBS, our cameras were in OBS, and then we would switch a scene and it would just be a desktop view with our cameras smaller, and then we would like record like, so it was like just scenes. But we found that like the quality and the like control you have is just much better if you just do everything in line separately and then just do it in post-production. Like that's the more professional way to do it. It is just more labor intensive.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we got to do another live soon. That was fun.
That was fun. We should do. Well, is there anything happening anytime soon?
I don't know.
Just for fun.
Just bring somebody.
I got
over.
pretty good at GeoGuessr. I'm ranked gold 1 now.
Wow, look at you, fucking nerd.
I've been playing ranked GeoGuessr. That was one of the early things we streamed. Was I played GeoGuessr.
We could probably bring like Mira over and just have fun conversations. I guess.
Anyway, let's get this started. It's like 9 o'clock there, right? 9:30 now for you.
Yeah, about 9:30.
Okay. Sorry, we'll keep this
moving
moving so you're not up all night. I'm on summer break. I'm a teacher and my summer has started, so I don't work for 2 months. So
I just got off work. I'm gonna go home and
I played Call of Duty all day.
fuck you.
Well, no, I also did a lot of homework, so that's I'm still in grad school. I still have a ton of homework to do. But
fair enough. Okay, you got to pass.
I did a lot of. I wrote plans on how to teach K through 8th graders word problems that have learning disabilities. So like if Johnny has 4 apples and you take away 3, how many apples? Like different ways to do that. That was my homework.
Fair enough.
I have a weird life, but it's all right. That's what a grad school or a master's in special education will get you, is like some weird lesson planning shit like that, like backwards design lessons. Anyway, cool. Let's get started.
Yeah.
Sweet. Hey, welcome back. Episode 6?
Something like that.
6, 5? Yeah. Hey, wait, we're joined once again by Evan from Left of the Projector. Only this time, we're not on your podcast. You're on ours. So we're not going to talk about movies. We're going to talk about news and politics and current events.
Welcome to our domain, bitch.
Yeah.
That's okay. I appreciate you having me on.
Although the last couple episodes we've been talking a lot about movies, especially last. No,
yeah,
it's
dude,
episode before last.
I
like
Terminator,
just ranted about Terminator and The Thing and The Matrix for like a 20 minutes of our hour-long episode, was just me talking about Terminator.
Can you see behind me? I have The Thing post. It may be cut off, but I have The Thing.
No, I see it. It's a little like just it's a little light. But I was talking about just the practical effects. The conversation was about AI use, like CGI and AI. The conversation was all about AI and like how AI is kind of starting to become used more heavily in like movie production and like post-production and for film, and how bad that is. And then we were talking about like how CGI will never look as good as practical, at least not all, like maybe one day it will, but like movies that are practically made even 40 years ago still hold up and still look great today. Whereas if you, like my example was The Thing and then The Thing reboot / sequel or prequel or whatever, how that looked awful, even though that was made 30-ish years after because it was bad CGI compared to great practical effects, and The Thing still holds up.
Yeah.
Not 100%. It's a little like hokey here and there, but like by and large, practical effects will always hold up.
I mean, yeah, look at Lord of the Rings.
And Lord of the Rings is another example. And then Matrix 1 compared to Matrix 2 and 3 of like what they did with like the stunt work and wire work and bullet time compared to like that ropey ass rubber CGI in the park scene from 2, right? It's just that difference. And like, and so that was the whole conversation. Anyway, we talked about movies a lot, and I mentioned you, and I was like, damn, I wish Evan was here for this conversation. I'm sure he would have a lot to say. And because that we spent a lot of time talking about that. And then I just nerded out on Terminator for like 20 minutes because I love Terminator.
Yeah,
franchise.
he just went off.
I'm a Terminator purist. I'm a Terminator apologist. I'm here for all 6. And the Sarah Connor Chronicles, the TV show with Summer Glau and Lena Headey before Game of Thrones. Never mind. Don't worry about it. We'll talk about it later.
You're like, we're not going to talk about movies, but movies.
But movies. But where do you stand on the Terminator franchise? I'm going to derail this, and I'm just going to take over this podcast and talk about Terminator again. Where do you stand on the Terminator movies? Obviously, 2 and 1 are great.
2 and 1, obviously, like supreme greatness.
Like some of the best movies ever made. Yeah.
I don't hate some of the later ones, but I would say I'm not like a completionist of loving the whole thing. I kind of feel like it just gets a little weird, but I'm not like against them. There's far worse series sequels than Terminator. Let's put it that way.
100%. And I'm hoping they can kind of turn around because although I did not hate the Mummy movies.
The Mummy after the third one is okay.
That's one with Jet Li. The third one.
What?
That's one with Jet Li.
Yeah, that one is okay. It wasn't like fantastic like the first two, but don't be hating on the Mummy series.
Yeah.
The Scorpion King.
I'm fine with
the Scorpion King is where it just goes fucking downhill, bro. All
right, let's stop talking about movies. Let's bring it back. Let's refocus, guys. That's my fault. I apologize. How have you been, Evan? Since we haven't talked to you since, what was that, like summer of last year? Was it
that long?
July, August, maybe? Because Halloween was coming up because we talked about doing like a vampire movie. We talked about
we never did that.
It was pre-Halloween, but
yes, we should definitely do another episode. It doesn't have to be a horror movie. It could be.
I had a really good suggestion.
He did have a suggestion.
Yeah, we talked to who was it? Seize the Means.
Susan Means.
Yes. Yeah. I was saying we should watch Walter Brani Sarajevo, which is a Yugoslavian World War II movie. Like it's made in 1973, but it's about World War II, right? And how this guy is like fighting in Sarajevo, like defending it from the Nazis.
Whoa, I've never seen
about the communists. Yeah, apparently, but this is what my mom tells me, right? So take it with a grain of salt. It is one of the biggest movies in the world because China is like constantly binge watching it. It's like a classic in China and it has one with like full subtitles and everything in China, and they love it. And so it has like crazy amount of views and watches because the Chinese love it.
It's just still like relevant and like available.
Yeah,
because
you can go on
YouTube
right now, and I believe you can find ones with subtitles, maybe even dubbed.
Okay. Well,
you have to send me this afterwards. I'm definitely going to check. Even if we don't do it, I still want to watch this movie.
I just want to watch the same. Yeah. Cool, man. Well, how have you been otherwise? Everything been going good in your neck of the woods?
Yeah, I feel like I hate being the always being like it's kind of the same, but I guess you could say, I mean, maybe my personal is like the kind of the same, but like the world, I mean, is falling apart, fucked up.
When we last spoke, Biden was president. The election was in full swing.
That's true. Yeah, like we're in like election campaign season. Wait, had Biden dropped out at that point?
I don't remember. When because that was pretty late, right? That was like late summer it was like May or June. When
he might have just been like about to, or was like the pressure was mounting.
Because that was the start of Brat summer.
I think Brat summer was like June.
That was Harris, so that was like
was June, right? I think he dropped out at this point, and Kamala Harris was just about to take over.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's from how long it's been.
Yeah, it's been, but that's good. Glad to hear everything's been going well.
Yeah, same old kind of thing. It's like just doing the same old stuff. I mean, as a fellow podcaster, just kind of like the thing that I can do on the side. That's just the joy you can get from
it's
things.
Fun. Keeps you engaged. Yeah,
talking to new people.
Yeah,
it's fun. But sometimes like you'll have people on, but then you'll go back to news and you're like. The amount, like, because how we do like a bit of news, we do commentary on like things that are going on in general, like global events, and we're trying to get away from that a little bit and like do more like book reviews, speak to more people. But then I find that when we get back into the news, it's so overwhelming because there's so many things that happen. We're like, okay, we got to focus on one thing.
Yeah,
because we used to do a weekly. It was like a ritual weekly. What has happened this week, and we'll
And that was genuinely awful. Like just trying to stay ahead of every news story every week. To churn through it because you had to talk about it with some kind of authority, and so making sure you were like aware of like the 4, 5, 6 big stories every week was exhausting and like mentally taxing.
It's worse now. What's like the saying, like there's like weeks where months happen and months where weeks happen. It's like now it's where weeks where months happen. Like the last week is like
Yeah. Well, the big story we're going to be talking about today is the LA protests, and then now it's as of like today and yesterday that's starting to spread in Chicago, New York,
Houston.
DC, Houston, Seattle. Even there's been a little bit of stuff. It's going to pop off more because the No King's Day is on Saturday, which is a I don't know. I don't know how familiar you are with.
Oh
No
yeah,
Kings Day.
the little stickers are all over my neighborhood. The little,
Yeah.
like No Kings.
I have a ideological problem with No King's Day because I am like a pro-authoritarian person. Like in general, like as a Marxist-Leninist, I don't have a problem with authoritarianism. Now, obviously, a monarchy is an inherently right-wing political structure, right? So like I don't like monarchies. So I agree with the sentiment No Kings, but this feels a little Three Arrows like anarchist to me, where I'm like, hey, let's back off of like not all authoritarian is bad, all right? Like read on authority and then get back to me.
Oh my god, I recommend that book so often, or not a book.
Just like I recommend it to every anarchist. I say, just like, dude, it's like 60 pages. Just read on authority and then we'll talk, man. I just can't have this conversation until you read that because you don't know anything. Anyway, I digress. But yeah.
Well, we're a democratic authority, you know.
Yeah.
It's a democratic authoritarianship. It's kind of. If like you tell that to people that are just not well versed or well read,
and I'm gonna sound like a Nazi,
and they're like a democratic authoritarianship. Those things, that's an oxymoron. It's like,
well, that's when you get called tanky and red fash, and
well, it's like I don't know if you've seen the flyers that they have going around. Like some of them just say like No Kings.
Just on Instagram and stuff. Yeah.
Oh well, there's one that's the one that I see in my neighborhood, like a sticker. It says, "We're not North Korea." Underneath like the No King. So like, okay, we're going to talk about it being the No Kings thing. Okay. That's kind of weird. But then like having to reference some other place, which is doing the meme of like, see these eight, what are we, a bunch of Asians? Like it's literally just doing that, on their, and I don't.
There's so much to
unpack. Do I look Korean to you?
Yeah. Well, it's also like anything bad happens and it's just like Americans. And it's that meme of like anything bad happens and Americans point to like another, are we Iraq? Are we South Korea? Are we North Korea? Are we Iran? It's like, no, dude, we're America. Like this is life under communism. It's like, no, dude, then it's like a picture of a supermarket during COVID. And it's like, actually, this is literally a life under capitalism. Like you fail to grasp anything.
Oh my god.
Yeah, and like the what was I going to say about the North Korea thing? I know it wasn't like that specifically, but I was talking with someone who's in like the PSL like in my region, and was saying is like they don't necessarily ideologically have maybe common ground with the group that's 501. I forget the group, whatever the group is that does the No Kings rally. But if you go to those rallies as a Marxist-Leninist, you might be able to talk to a few people, get them more on your side. So
I'll be out there on Saturday. I'm going to go hang out in our local. It's in Cal Anderson Park. If you're in the Seattle area, that's where ours is kind of being organized. And I have my USSR patch, and so I'll be on there with my my USSR swag, and just kind of starting a conversation with folks. But I'm just going to kind of hang out. There's some other people that I'm going to go meet up with and just kind of keep an eye on things, see how it goes.
At first, I really wanted to record. Like bring a camera and just like let's but then he was pointing out that like that's not a good idea because people don't want their faces.
Yeah, on surface we're like let's take our mobile camera rig and lava mics and go like interview some people and do some like street press, like street journalism, whatever. And I'm like, that's good on paper, but at the end of the day, you're going to a protest that's probably going to get spicy and putting a camera in people's faces and be like, hey, tell me about yourself. And it's like people don't want that at a protest. With like,
he just got shot with a rubber bullet. Did it hurt?
Yeah.
I mean, I bet the people who would want it are like the people that are heads of that organization. Whereas, like, if you interviewed me, I'd be like, I don't know.
Yeah, like I'm keeping my black mask on. Like I'm not taking off. So like I'm thinking of like my personal self. Like I'm wearing all black. I'm wearing like anonymous clothing. I'm wearing like nothing identifiable. And like I wouldn't talk to a camera if I'm there in my personal capacity. So like therefore I wouldn't.
No, fair
enough.
I
wouldn't put that on somebody else.
Fair enough.
Right?
I just want a reason to go out and film with our lavalier mics. You know what I mean?
Yeah, like we covered the Boeing strike like 2 years ago, and that was so fun. And
maybe so, with audio, maybe I would consider if it was just talking to someone, no video. Like they just
and that's what we did for the Boeing strike, because nobody was comfortable being on their face on the video, so we just recorded just audio and
I just blurred out everybody's face.
Yeah,
but they don't know that.
Yeah, they don't trust us. We're just we're gonna get called feds.
Yeah.
I mean, like especially given like the kind of people who go to these protests, like right wing groups that are pretending to be whatever, and then they record shit and then they post it on I don't know what Red State, whatever their websites are. I don't even know. Daily Caller,
Rumble. Is Rumble still around? I don't know if Rumble's still around. Remember we had to stream one of the Republican debates on Rumble?
Yeah, dude, the fucking ads on that were fucking wild.
That was funny.
Absolutely wild.
Leading up to the Republican primary, we had to stream one of the Republican primary debates on Rumble because that was the only place it was like broadcast. Of course. Which was kind of ironic because like I don't know, it was actually, the debates were hard to find. The primary debates are like I have a problem having covered this now almost like from a journalist point of view. It's like, okay, now I have a real problem with these because they're on outlets that are like really hard to find. Even the Democratic ones, you had to have like an HBO Max account. It was all paid or whatever. And like these weren't like publicly available things, and they're all anyway. But the point is that like the ads on Rumble are just about like buying gold and like standing for the Pledge of Allegiance, and it's just like weird grifts and like brainwashing. God. And speaking of North Korea thing, it's just like the weirdest shit in there, and it was a lot of fun. You're right. We should stream something again.
Yeah, it'll be fun. It's just like what do you stream?
What do you stream? Yeah, I don't want to stream just for the sake of streaming.
That's what I used to do. I used to do streaming for all of my episodes, maybe the first year or so, and some people weren't okay with it, so I wouldn't do it. But then I didn't have it wasn't edited. Like some people didn't want to be live streamed, and so I just stopped doing it. And I don't know. It is fun though. I kind of like it.
Yeah, I mean, streaming is fun. We have a good time anytime we do like any kind of like live debate coverage or whatever, because we just get snacks and beer and we just kind of get a little rowdy. Mostly it's just making fun of Democrats and Republicans. I
remember for our first fucking live stream, my mom tuned in.
Right? Oh yeah, the chips thing.
Yeah, we're like chewing on chips right into the microphone. She's like, "Please put the microphone away from your fucking face."
We had like salsa and popcorn and chips and like
we're going ham at the chip. Yeah. We're so hungry.
Yeah, that was funny. Well, I was going to ask you, get back to it. Are you going out? Have you been out? Are you going out at any protests? Do you plan on going out on Saturday?
Yeah.
I don't know how active of a guy you are.
Yeah, I'll be out the one, like the No Kings one with like, I know some people who are in like more, leftist, actual kind of leftist organizations that'll have their own presence. They'll have more of a pro-Palestine kind of, vibe to their group as opposed to just kind of like being like Trump bad,
just vaguely anti-Trump. Yeah.
Yeah. So that'll be, I haven't gone to any rallies that are part of this 50. Is it 501? I keep saying that. Is that
I don't
actually
know. Yeah, I'm not sure. My phone's out of reach, so I'm not sure. I was going to look it up real quick, but I've seen the flyers. I forget the name of the org is putting on. I did see a news report though that it was it's the Walton family heiress, like the Walmart dynasty. Yeah. She's like one of the big like sponsors or proponents of it or whatever. So she's like anti-Trump or never Trumper. So it's like it's a billionaire backed like very much.
It's 50. It's 50-51, which I guess is supposed to stand for all 50 protests, 50 states, one movement. That's like the original.
Oh, 50-50-1.
Or all one. I don't know which one it is. And so
sure.
Actually, this is something that I came up today. Someone was on Threads posting about the protest and saying like, oh, you should go to their website and register, like put your name in, put all your information in, so then they know
that is a horrible idea.
And like the person, my friend's like, no. Why would you do that? And like, oh, we need to know how many people are coming to the protest. No, you don't. I'm not putting my fucking name on a list for you to probably ask for money. It's like, well, that's not a protest. That's just I don't know. But
that's a Fed psyop, bro. I swear to God.
Well, that's my larger problem with this event in particular, and a lot of similar events that are like this kind of thing. Like not like when it's like an organic like protest that comes out of like the Roe v. Wade thing, and before that the BLM movements and stuff. A lot of those are kind of like astroturf, for lack of a better term, but most of them were organic and kind of happened. When it's these types of like billionaire backed things, it's like when it's like permitted and organized and like roped off but in the confines of City Hall, it's like. I saw a really good post today that kind of explained this well, which was like, if it's a guaranteed spot and like a designated spot where you're protesting in front of City Hall, they're prepared for it. First of all, there's typically fences and barriers. If you're permitted, it's not going to accomplish anything. And like, that's not a new take, right? Like if it's a permitted protest, like a peaceful protest is like permitted by the state because it doesn't actually do anything. And if it doesn't do anything, then why do it? So like, I'm all for, non-peaceful protest, we'll say, and an unpermitted and like non-registered and like you shouldn't know how many people are showing up. It should be a lot more than that, and so don't ever put your name on a registry.
Never.
Yeah, I mean that's why we no, go for it.
I think for this group, because you said that like they're funded by wealthy people. My guess is it's for they want to send you donation requests.
Oh yeah, they want to send you emails
more than anything.
You on their contact. What's it called? Constant contact email.
That's just not to me. If your organization, it's one thing like, okay, you're in PSL, you're in DSA, whatever, you want to join their mailing list to learn about protests and rallies and their events. Fine, that's one thing. But to sign up for a specific protest where you're tagging, I'm going to be here, you're just telling they could sell that information to fucking ICE. I don't know.
Yeah, well, and that's,
Or
I
get
mean,
hacked.
we learned that with January 6th is like, that's why like fucking 180 or whatever people were arrested, or however many the number ended up being, I lost count, because they were able to easily just track everybody because they all posted all their selfies on Facebook of like them storming the Capitol. And so like they were just able to cross-reference all those photos and just arrest all of those guys.
Yeah.
Now, obviously they've all since been pardoned, so like it was moot to begin with, but the point still stands is like, it's if you just like tell people where you're going to be when things get out of hand, which they almost always do nowadays, like you don't want to be on a database somewhere. or a
No,
list
absolutely
somewhere.
not. Absolutely not. But it's also at the end of the day, it's like how many protests are actually like planned well and efficiently. It's like these big like you said, like the billionaire backed ones that are like very well planned and like prepared and shit like that. It's like how many people are gonna come to a protest that was like just out of nowhere. You know?
Well, this has been planned for a while, right? This No Kings thing. This is like
At least a month.
yeah. So
Yeah.
this happened before the LA ICE protests happened organically.
Yeah.
So my question is, my thinking, I guess, is like, are the original backers and organizers of the No Kings thing, are they worried now that like this, because now that the ICE protests are spreading city to city and that's become bigger, and like, is that going to become either cannibalize their movement, or is it going to like co-opt their movement, which is fine. Like obviously that's a better movement.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, better is a strong word, but I am anti-Trump, but I'm also anti just capitalist democracy, Western democracy. But my point is like, I guess,
I have a feeling that the anti-ICE movement that's going right now, the protests, will probably take over the entire
kind of
fucking
engulf,
thing.
and it'll change.
And
the
I think
theme.
they know that
Yeah,
too.
Yeah.
So that's
And
why
they're
think
not
they're
mutually
worried.
exclusive. Yeah. Do you think they're worried? That's my question is like, this billionaire Walmart heiress probably isn't super stoked if like the mood is now, yes, ACAB, let's burn cop cars, because that was not their original plan. They were just like, oh, anti-Trump in front of City Hall, like wave our Biden Harris flags or whatever.
Yeah, I mean, like the government sanctioned protests, like in kind of like quotation marks, so like because like you said, they get a permit, they have speakers, that are all planned. If all of a sudden these other groups are in what they would consider like agitator, whatever you want to call them, join in on this, to them they look bad. Like not like, oh, we're the evil, rioting,
Their name's on the permit,
violence protesters, when they want to be seen as like, we did it the right way, kind of thing. And so it's good
the
if
right way.
I hate that.
it's been if they're co-opted. Like that's what you want to see.
Yeah, that sort of thing is like, I don't have a problem if they are, because like I said, it's a much more organic, like grassroots movement, and I think it's more meaningful. Generally, just vaguely anti-Trump isn't super helpful. Everyone's anti-Trump for the most part. Like that's not helpful.
There's Republicans that are anti-Trump.
Yeah.
Bro. It's like I can't be siding with these motherfuckers. Like,
I'm anti-Trump if you're also like, I'll join your anti-Trump movement if you also concede to be anti, Buttigieg or Newsom or whoever the front runner in 2028 is going to be, right? Like, but they won't obviously do that. So it's like, okay, well then we're not on the same side, like
absolutely
ideologically in this particular instance.
Yeah, it usually ends up being like, hey, I need you to be anti-capitalist.
Yeah.
Period.
I guess that's
there might
that's the
be
bigger
like
picture.
certain cases and incidents where like I could sit down and be like, I could maybe do a rally with a SOCDEM, maybe.
Yeah.
If it's going to be about universal health care or something.
Well, we've
like
talked
that.
about like even like the Pacific Northwest, the Seattle DSA is like pretty radical, for lack of a better term. They're pretty hardcore, and like they were involved in a lot of the shutting down the ports of in Tacoma when it was the Israeli shipments. Like DSA was the one who organized those shutting up. So it's like like even, and I would argue that DSA is kind of more on that, like, well, literally in the name, the Democratic Socialists with the SOCDEM kind of side of things. But they're still, I would still go out and support them if the cause was, worthy.
yeah.
Sorry, Evan,
They're
what were you
willing.
saying?
They're willing to actually partner in like a lot of the big cities, even smaller places, with other more radical groups. So I respect them. Maybe not fully as an organization, like I'm supportive of them, but I'm supportive of them when they're willing to.
Yeah, kind of extend that olive branch.
Yeah,
for sure. Well, we'll have to see. I'll be down there on Saturday. Hopefully you can make it. I know.
Yeah, we'll see. My wife is concerned, so
yeah,
she's like, with seeing everything that's going on in LA right now, she's thinking that I'm gonna get shot with a rubber bullet or something like that. I mean, it's a possibility, but shit.
I mean, I wonder. Do you think they're gonna like preemptively send larger, maybe not like the National Guard like they did in LA, like to some of these cities in the
They
anticipation.
already are. Yeah, I think it was in DC and New York. There's like Abrams tanks like being delivered and shit. Like there was footage. There was a footage today.
Well,
The DC one, I saw the tank actually.
Yeah,
I did see that.
so the DC, from what I understand, they sent the tanks to DC because it was supposed to be for Trump's birthday. They're doing a military.
He's doing a big
parade.
military parade on Saturday.
Yeah, he's doing a $50
Speaking of
million
North Korea,
military
yeah.
parade.
You could end homelessness for that fucking that tank
that amount
spectacle.
of yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. And see, like, there's already notifications that on like Facebook for like Seattle protests that there are going to be feds.
100%. Yeah, they've already
protest.
blocked the ICE detention facility downtown Seattle. So like they've already started to gear up, and like there's already been like a lot of clashes, for lack of a better term, in Seattle. So
What happened to Governor Inslee saying we're not going to be cooperative with ICE, and they have an ICE fucking.
the mainstream Democrat, dude. I mean,
It's like, yeah, it's like, how do
they're
people
gonna
not see
buckle
past
and
this
be
bullshit?
You know,
Say
do what
one thing,
Democrats
do
do.
another, basically, you know.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just Democrat stuff, basic Democrat stuff. Well, everybody, if you're out there this week, well, this episode won't be out by then, so
No.
hope you have been safe. Hope you were safe last weekend when you're listening to this now.
And if you got shot by rubber bullets, send us the images and
Yeah,
we'll put 'em
we'll
up.
make a little collage, a little
Yeah.
like we'll put Enya in the background. Well, I've been building out my set. I have my plate carrier and my ballistic helmet and stuff, so I'm like actually ready to throw down. So
Yeah, I got a couple of gas masks. And
yeah, I don't have a gas
Face
mask
mask.
yet, but I have like a more of a tactical like shooting set because I had my AR-15s and stuff in Arizona, so I have like I have like tactical vest in there, and I'm building a plate carrier setup now. I don't have actual plates yet though. I got to go pick some up this weekend. There's a Blue Line store. It's called like something Blue Line. It's in Renton, and I'm like dreading going in, but I'm gonna have to because it's like the only tactical store in Western Washington. So anyway, that's my.
What's with Blue Line?
It's a police.
Oh,
it's a
Blue
police
Line.
like
Blue Line.
yeah, it's called something Blue Line. It's like it's a police outlet basically.
Jesus Christ.
It's like
But
one
I
of
need to
like
go get-
those ranger stores kind of thing, like a surplus.
I went to the military surplus in downtown Seattle. It was cool. It was a trans woman was the counter clerk. So I was like, yeah, okay.
That's so Seattle,
but it's
bro.
very Seattle.
That's so
like,
Seattle.
Yeah. Everything you think in Seattle, it's never like that. That was like we were in Ballard a couple weeks ago, and there's like a line dancing country bar, which is like it's like a not a suburb, but it's like an area, I guess, of Seattle. And there's like a line dancing country bar, and there's some people smoking out front, and they were all just like flannel wearing, beanie wearing hipsters. And I was like, yeah, okay, this tracks. And then you go to a military surplus store, and it's a trans woman who's like working the who helped me out, and I'm like, okay, it's very Seattle. It's just, that tracks for Seattle. There are no like MAGA people in Seattle, at least not that I've seen.
Yeah, but they're probably hidden. You know?
They're up like in Marysville or whatever.
Yeah,
Like more out in the suburb kind of.
On the outer skirts of the city. But like, I mean, that's a cool thing about like, it's actually what me and my spouse like talk about is like, you can always know a business if they're on the level or not, because like every business in Seattle has the progressive like pride flag, the one with the trans and the brown stripes on it, like I forget what it's called, whatever that. Oh, happy Pride Month, by the way. It's Pride Month. I don't think. Oh, we recorded that. Doesn't matter. And anyway, sorry, I'm all over the place. I'm a little drunk, so it's all right.
A little drunk.
Yeah.
How many have you had before I even came?
Don't worry about it. I'm on vacation. I'm on summer break. I don't have work anymore. I don't have work for 2 months. So
That's nice.
2 month paid vacation. Let's go. What was I saying? Oh, anyway, you can tell businesses in Seattle by if they don't have one of those pride flags, because every business does.
Yeah.
It's like a decision not to. It's like they're saying something by not having a pride flag.
Yeah.
So that's like, it's like it's performative, right? Like I don't want to be like,
it is very performative.
I don't want to like lean into the performative aspect of it, but I think it does say something. Like if you're not willing to do that, even in Seattle, like.
Well, to be honest, you could flip it the other way. If you go up to Marysville, Arlington, and like a little bit of more of these like rural areas, you'll find like all the time like Blue Lives Matter flags, the American flag, the fucking not the Confederate flag, but what's like that what's that little like half circle little ribbons that people put on their fences, you know what I'm talking about?
Oh, like the Dixie flag?
Kind of like that, yeah. And you'll find like, you know, we support our troops or our officers in blue or whatever bullshit. You know, these motherfuckers be wearing cowboy hats and speaking in a southern accent. I'm like, my friend, it is Yeah, are you speaking in a southern accent?
I mean, a little bit. I'm from Louisiana.
Yeah, from Louisiana, because you're from Louisiana. This motherfucker's from Arlington, Western Washington.
Oh.
You're 15 minutes from the gayest part of the fucking world, and this guy's speaking in a southern accent. Never left the state.
Yeah. When I get real drunk, I start slurring and I'll go a little southern.
Yeah, a little something.
Yeah. When I'm mad or when I'm drunk is when I like start like slipping back into my Louisiana
Gotta
accent.
get him a couple more drinks. I want to
You
start.
wanna hear me talk Louisiana? Yeah. Well, all right, man. What do we think the revolution's kicking off, or what? Is this? That's like I'm seeing two halves on Instagram. It's the half that's like the revolution is here, and the other half saying like, no, you idiot, this is just performative protests. Like, so I you know what I mean? And I know where I stand, somewhere more in the middle of those two.
Yeah.
Like, obviously, this is not the revolution, but could it be? Could this spread? I mean, or is this another 2020? Because I mean, like, arguably in 2020, that was to a multiple magnitude larger than these protests are. And nothing came of that. More police funding.
I think it has potential to grow, but the Black Lives Matter protests were just so big, and at the time, because of like the lockdowns and people like not working, you had like a perfect storm. That was like why it was so important for them to get everyone to go back to work. They need you to stop protesting. You know, it's things have degraded so much since then that like it's hard to devote like serious, weekly, daily time to it. So I don't know. But I think that like even like the sentiment I think is stronger now, even if it may not be like grow into like as large of a protest movement. People realize how fucking terrible things are. I think to like a really, they don't know what to do. Most people, because most of them are like either liberal or not political at all, and that's why I think it is important to go to these protests and talk to just random people and be like, oh, so like
have conversations.
I don't know, these.
Yeah, the Black Lives Matter protests were definitely, they were bigger, all right? But I feel like back then the class consciousness wasn't as unlocked. It was very anti-cop, but now it's a good mix of everything, because now you have like, the Palestinian flag, you'll have like a Black Lives Matter symbology, you'll have anti-ICE, you'll have, and then commies and socialists start showing up and like. Are like anti-fascist. And so I think these protests right now, they are technically smaller and they have room to grow, but I think they're just a lot more aware of what's going on with classism and like what's going on, and they're a lot better read, because I think, how would I put this? I think extremism and people's political ideology is starting to swing farther to the left and farther to our actual left. Way more people are now more openly socialist than before, is what I'm saying. And so that's more representative in these protests.
Yeah, I think I'd agree with that. Like, it's just largely, I would argue probably, or I would guess probably the same people from 2020 to now. Is now we're all just 5 years older and
more mature as well,
and more jaded, more cynical.
Yeah, like the people who were like radicalized by 2020 are now like Marxist Leninists, and you got to get the people now who are just getting radicalized to get there quicker than 5 years, or whatever.
Yeah, because what is that? What is that? That's that scientific principle, like that rate of decay, that like half-life. Because like the last big protest pre-BLM, I think, was probably the Occupy Wall Street, which was maybe even bigger than BLM. And I'm old enough to like have not been there because I lived in Tucson, Arizona at the time. But like so remember seeing that on the news, and that was like that whole thing kind of fizzled out and fell apart because of a lot of the same reasons that the BLM protest fizzled out and fell apart. And so now this is the third like large movement. I guess fourth if you count the kind of the college sit-ins for at the start of the Gaza the genocide. So that was on a smaller scale. So I don't know. I think this has potential to be a little larger because this is more domestic, and typically domestic problems get more support.
But I feel like what you'll notice is like the time, the amount, the period in between these mass.
That's what I'm saying. That's the half-life.
Smaller.
It's becoming more and more frequent. So that's a good thing, because then you get, instead of a generational thing where it's like the next generation, because pre-Occupy Wall Street was like Vietnam or like whatever. So that was like a 30-year gap.
It was a Bush,
and then
there's the war.
So it was a 30-year gap, and then a 15-year gap, and then a 5-year gap.
Yeah,
I guess Iraq War, but that wasn't huge.
Early 2000s.
Yeah, those weren't like.
But that was 10 years,
Yeah. So like it was 30 years, 10 years, 10 years, now 5 years. And so like the events are getting closer and closer together
until it's one continuous riot.
And that's what you need.
And then that's the revolution.
That's what you need to galvanize people and radicalize people, because they either forget or it's a different generation that
I mean, the fact that like
comes along.
there's like collapses in like, the economy so much more often too, right? Like you think about, the joke is like, people who are millennials have witnessed, like what, 5 economic collapses of their lifetime.
Yeah, I know. I'm 30. I'm 36. I'm almost 37, and I've been here for all of them. It's
30.
awful, dude. I remember all of them, and I've been fucked by every one of them. So yeah.
Yeah, I have a feeling that by the end of Trump's term, there's going to be another 1 or 2.
Oh, 100%.
And maybe even by the end of Trump's term, it might become fucking crazy enough that
maybe
I wouldn't say there's a revolution, but like I think there's going to be some major fucking change.
We haven't really followed the whole Trump economics policy very, very closely basically since he was elected for a second term, but he's backed off a lot of those tariffs. He like pumped the brakes on like a lot of his shit because like it was immediately fucked up, and like I think he immediately got told by like a bunch of business insiders that like this was hurting their bottom line, and so like he paused all but like China, and even the Chinese ones were dropped by like 35% where they were.
I think they're going to reach a deal that's going to even be less than that, like to the point of all his buddies were losing money, and he's like, well, he didn't care that like the working class was losing money. Who fuck them?
Yeah. But like all of
people.
his rich friends were losing money, and so like we thought Trump was gonna like I don't know, like early spring or whatever or late winter. We thought Trump, like the economy was just gonna like we were gonna be the next Great Depression because of all of these tariffs and everything. Like everyone who had half a brain obviously saw that was an awful idea, and then so we're like, oh my god, what's about to happen to the economy? I think he has course corrected enough to slow that stall where I don't think he can totally crash the economy in the next couple of years, but I'm not an economist, so I don't know. But he's definitely like finally listening to like actual economists and business people, and so the working class people will still be like fucked. Like eggs are still expensive, but like we won't have like the next Great Depression.
I think inflation is going to
that'll keep going.
I think the inflation is going to keep rising whether or not the tariffs are there or not. I think the tariffs would have just sped everything up. But I think with inflation rising and just wages being stagnant and shit, I genuinely believe that like we're probably by the end of his term, it's gonna hit like some sort of fucking depression.
Yeah, and then you have the like unpausing student loans, garnishing people's wages from their student loans. I mean, that's gonna put more people like both on the street or just can't pay their bills, and people using
working class people are gonna suffer for sure. But I just meant like the larger, and that has a trickle down effect of like, when people can't buy things, then businesses close, and when businesses close, like shopping malls close, and it does have this domino effect where eventually it'll lead to like a collapse of the American economy. But that doesn't happen immediately. It's the working class and the poor people that are like immediately affected, and then for even a couple of years.
And all that's going to be left is the techno-feudalist state Amazon.
Techno-feudal.
Wait. Are you saying that trickle down economics doesn't work?
I am saying it doesn't work.
Only with the negative effects.
Ironically, it does work, but just in the opposite direction. Yeah,
it trickles up.
It trickles up. Yeah.
It's like pissing in your own fucking face.
Yeah. Wait, hold on. I gotta pause for a second. Is that a Photoshop photo of Marx behind you, but with a dog as Marx?
No, it's not Marx. It is my dog. With like, it's basically like they took a picture of your dog and they put it on Photoshop with just a random person in a suit. So there's I
thought it was that Marx. You see that Marx with like the white suit, the black, like
it does really look like that.
I thought really it was straight up that.
Holy shit.
Like
really
that portrait of Marx. I was like, is that just Marx but with a dog face? Okay, never mind. For the audio listeners,
if it hadn't been a gift and I had done it myself, I would have. Maybe you could choose it to be.
In my mind, that's what it is.
Yeah. See, when we get our first dog, once we like eventually move into a house,
do that with like.
We want to name him. We already figure out the name for the dog. It's going to be Karl Barks.
Karl Barks. That's a good one.
Yes, and I would love a portrait from Karl Barks as Karl Marx.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's like one of these services where you mail them a photo, and it's not like AI. Fortunately, it's like they literally just cut the. I mean, you could probably do it yourself. You don't even.
Yeah, I could do that in Photoshop. Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's just more like the printing is like a little. It's like a canvas kind of.
Oh, okay, yeah. I have a wholesale commercial printing account that I lied and said I'm a business for. So I have a wholesale printing account.
We'll cut this
Have I not talked about this? No, I don't give a fuck them. I've printed stuff for the SRA before. Like all the SRA banners came from me, and like I've printed personal stuff. Like I have canvas wrap prints of like my spouse because I have this wholesale printing account, like, so I can get them for like $8 or whatever. So like I have.
We haven't been printing them for.
It just occurred to me that we have this.
You dumbass.
Like a 6 foot by 2 foot banner is like $18 or something. So like, yeah.
Bro.
What does a regular store charge for something like that? Like $100?
Like a couple $100, yeah. Like
Bro,
if you go to like Staples.
what
or
are we
whatever.
doing? We could have been like printing this shit off.
Yeah, like this it's called dye sublimation tapestry, like this John Brown tapestry. I could make that for $30 maybe.
Bro, we gotta get we can get a few of these and start putting them around town.
Remind me after this episode to look into that because I fucking forgot it. I haven't looked at that account since I was in Phoenix. It was the Phoenix SRA that I printed those banners for. My company that I lied and said I own is in Phoenix. So.
Oh.
But
They don't even make you put in like a tax ID.
They don't. Like, they didn't make me do anything. It's like a commercial like wholesale printing account out of this like this large format place, and I just said I was a company.
What was the
Oh no, I said I was Socialist Rifle Association, like LLC or whatever. Like I was just like fucking. I just typed in SRA basically. I'm not even a member of SRA anymore, but I don't know. I'll see if it's still active. It's probably still active.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Speaking of that, I was like, I got these badges. I bought actually over Amazon, ironically, but they could custom make badges, and it was like $30 for 10 of them. And so I got to make a post soon enough.
Oh, those patches? Mm-hmm. Yeah, you gotta bring me one.
Yeah, I keep forgetting.
Yeah, bring me one. I'll put it on my ballistic vest or my plate carrier. I have Molly like Velcro. Are they Velcro or are they just like the iron-on?
No, I think it's you had to sew it on.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's funny. I have like a little like one of those like stores where you can just upload your own images and people can buy like a shirt for like Left of the Projector. Not that anyone ever buys any of them because one, I don't promote it, and two, like I don't really whatever. But I keep wanting to do not ones for myself, but ones like how they have like the QR codes on those No Kings little stickers, but doing ones for like socialist reading material. You put it up. It's just like a zine. Like they can download on authority, by clicking on their phone. I keep saying I'm going to do this with like the groups nearby and just haven't done it. Just I say I'm going to do it and then I forget about it. And then until I tell someone, I'm going to do this again.
QR code. That's so good.
That's a good idea.
We should get one with a QR code for the poster that you're talking about and just stick it somewhere like a college campus.
What poster I'm talking about?
Like, because you have the account.
Just make it big?
Yeah, make a big one and go into a college campus and just tape it on there with the QR code.
Which is our podcast.
I mean, you could probably print stickers too with the same thing, right? Like,
I don't know. It's a large format company specifically, so it's like banners and table throws. It's like a trade show large format. So they do like booths and like they do the step and repeats for like the backdrops and stuff. So
okay.
I don't know if they do like smaller scale like stickers and stuff, but I'll look. I don't know.
Even if we could get like a little bit bigger of a banner and just I don't know. Like I said, go to UW and just stick it on like one of the walls on the side.
Well,
of the building.
we wanted to do that whole series where we recorded just classic Marxist literature. Like I have all these domains in this podcast saved for like it's called Classic Marxist Readings, and I just wanted to read with this setup because I have like a fairly like
well, we put
professional-ish setup
with our link tree. You can add that.
We'll add that, and we'll just like have a place where people can just go and like if you don't have time to read, like just a podcast that is full. The feed is just full of like all the classic Marxist books.
Audiobook
just
free.
in one location, so you can just all for free. And like
it's funny it's funny you said that because I don't know if you ever have seen or like know how popular like the ASMR videos are on YouTube. I don't know if you've ever like watched one or like know anything about them.
I know about them. I don't watch.
It would be really smart if someone, probably a woman, just because it seems like that's the more popular people who do that on YouTube, read in like the very soft whispering voice, just read like communist literature.
Yeah.
And people would like be like just looking for it, being like, oh, this is just a calming ASMR whispering. And then just lo and behold, they're listening to, as they're falling asleep, like, the Communist Manifesto. And like all of a sudden you've now secretly given someone some
what's the first line? There's a specter haunting Europe.
I think it could work.
Yeah. Well, that's what we talked about. Is like I have like a nicer chair in there, and then if you can see on our background here, this is a real fireplace in my basement, and like we were just gonna put like a green screen in the fireplace and just have like a crackling fire, and me with like a glass of brandy just reading, on authority or whatever. I did Combat Liberalism. So on our podcast feed, I read Combat Liberalism. So episode 6.5 because you couldn't make after episode 6.
Yeah.
So the 7th time I recorded, I was like, well, fuck it, I'll just read Combat Liberalism and I'll upload that. So I just did that. And then that got me thinking, I was like, why don't I just do that with all the books.
Yeah,
Like,
because we can like literally make it professional as fuck, where you're sitting there scrolling through the pages, reading, and people are watching you read, right? And then I can, as you're reading, I'm putting up old pictures from the 1800s or 1900, whatever is relevant to the book,
relevant stuff in
and
the background.
yeah, and it's like cycling through these images.
If you wanted to edit it that much, I was just
I
gonna
would
say
love
put a
to.
camera on me with the fake fire in the background and let me read
I
with
would
my
love to,
brandy.
yeah. Well, you gotta put it somewhere once in a while, you know.
Yeah.
It's so people have like, as they're
still wanna do that.
listening
I mean,
to
fuck
you,
it,
they have
dude.
like an idea of like what part of history this is, what Mao looked like as you're speaking.
Let's
what
do
Mao's,
let's do a test. Let's do a pilot one. What,
Or you
what
could
should I
even
read?
have like part of the screen could even be like the actual text. I don't know, like so people could like visually
just a
watch it
scrolling
while you're
text.
reading it.
Yeah, like a what do
Yeah.
you call that? Teleprompter kind of thing, just where it scrolls, like the Star Wars crawl, but like in the corner or something.
yeah.
You
I mean, we can
figure
get you a
it out, yeah.
teleprompter and read the whole thing off the teleprompter.
I like to read. You don't want to read. You don't want to hear the
Yeah.
page turning and stuff. You know.
Yeah.
I have.
Yeah,
all
you gotta
the
have
books.
the nice hardcover book, the crinkling of the
I have
papers.
mostly everything physical. What should I read first, dude?
Oh yeah. Okay, hold up. I mean, honestly, just the Communist Manifesto.
Dude, I've read that so many times. Well, I would like it to be something I haven't read.
Okay.
Any of Mao's works would be nice.
I've read most of Mao. I'm a Mao stan. Well, that's a perfect segue to ask some questions because I wanted to ask you a few questions. This is our interview portion of the podcast. Why a movie podcast? So I don't think we actually talked about this on your episode, the episode that we were on of your show, and I'm sure you've mentioned this prior in your series, but for our listeners, why did you start a movie podcast called Left of the Projector?
So it goes back to one of the first movie podcasts I listened to at all was the Horror Vanguard podcast. I don't know if you've heard that one. It's all horror films. There's 3 hosts on it now. I actually just had them on recently. We did an episode on Ghostbusters, and I love their podcast going back to maybe like 2020, like around when people were more leftist podcasts were popping up. I really loved it. And a friend of mine who's more liberal minded, I said, hey, like, maybe we should start a podcast about horror movies because they have a horror movie podcast. I have a much different perspective as a leftist. You're more liberal minded, but it might be interesting to have our two, kind of differing opinions of things, talk about movies. Because he and I talk about movies all the time. Me trying to push him on, everything leftist related, him refusing to go. And like, we were going to do it and it just kind of like fell through. He's like, I don't think I really want to do it, blah, blah, blah. I'm like, okay, shit. Well, I guess I'm not going to do this podcast. Flash forward like a year later, getting to around 2022. I'm like, I still want to do this movie podcast, but I don't want to pigeonhole myself with just horror movies. So instead of that, I'm just going to talk about movies specifically from a leftist perspective as a leftist and have people come on, varying. Originally, my idea was to have people who weren't always just leftists come on. Like sometimes it could be a liberal, maybe a conservative, to like argue with them a little bit.
God,
steered away from that because I don't want it to be like one of those argue, debate kind of things. And it just, initially, I don't even remember how I came up with the name, honestly. I think I went on TikTok live when I used to be active on TikTok and would just like asking people, be like, what do you think I should call it? And it just, I don't know. That's just the name that came out, and I don't know. I could say the rest is history.
Great name.
It's a good name. Yeah, Left Projector is a solid name. Yeah.
Yeah, I've toyed with having like hosts, but I don't know. Sometimes I like having just other podcasts on you guys come on, or have it be just people from completely different that don't know each other sometimes, and it's ends up working out well. So.
And you've had like really like some prolific guests. I mean, you've had Brett from Rev Left, and you've had you've had some big names on your podcast. How long have you been doing this, all told?
It's funny. I was just looking up to see when my very first one was. I'm actually about to I'm planning my 200th episode.
Oh wow! Congratulations!
And so like I will preface this by saying that like I don't want to say it's easier. Like it's like there's only so much like homework you can do. You watch the movie, you might watch some interviews, you might read some articles and things. Like I sometimes I talk to people who have like book podcasts where they have to like read a whole book and they talk about like that's a lot of work. That's like
a lot of work, yeah.
Reading a work. So I don't want to say it's like easy. Like recording and editing and all that stuff is takes time and all that. But I just looked. The very first episode I did was June of 2022. So I guess it's about 3 years.
Well, yeah. What day? Do you have the date of when you uploaded?
June 1st.
Okay, dude, you're at 3 years. Cool.
Yeah.
Congrats.
And like there's some times where I've done like episodes on TV shows where I've released an extra episode, or like I've done one on Andor, not the whole series just yet. And I actually just dropped one with Rev Left again on a couple Luis Buñuel films. Just
I would love to get them on.
2 days ago in recording time, but when you listen to this, it'll have been last week.
Last week. Okay, perfect. Yeah. I don't drive as much, so I don't listen to as many podcasts anymore. Because that's where I found I do have a long commute, but now that I haven't been working, I don't listen to as many podcasts anymore. So I really have to pick and choose what I listen to. Yeah. And I'm deep in this fantasy series too, so that's been taking all of my time. So I will admit that I've fallen off my podcast, but I still see the feed of all of the people that you. It's mostly now when I watch what I listen to is if it's a movie that I'm like super into, or the Andor series, which I've actually had to avoid because I haven't watched Andor season 2 yet, which I really need to get around to. But now that I'm off. It's only day 3 of my vacation, so now that I'm off,
literally my favorite show that's ever been made in the history of television.
I loved the first season. I've
not watched it
yet. But we talked about it a little bit, but I was a pretty strong proponent that is the best Star Wars property ever made. It's probably one of the best, if not the best, Disney property ever made. And that's only just season 1, and I have heard nothing but just better things about season 2. So I'm like, okay, I really got to check this out.
I won't say anything about it because I'm sure you've seen like memes and it's hard to avoid everything.
I'm actually not on social media or the internet as much as I used to be. So I only have Instagram, and it's pretty much only leftist accounts, and the only Andor memes on leftist accounts are like it'll be a picture of like Diego Luna and like
I'm chronically online, to be honest with you. I take care of the account for the most part.
Yeah.
And so I'm constantly
bless your heart for doing it.
Yeah, of course, man. But I'm constantly emailing people. When are you going to come on? This and that. Like people constant collabs and stuff like that. And so like I constantly have to go on Instagram because I can't miss like a collab for too late. But also like I have to make sure to reply to this person because they want to come on or I'm trying to get them. And then I have my own fucking Instagram and Twitter, this and that. It's a lot, man. It's a lot. Yeah. But like to be honest. Go for it.
I was saying, like, I know I feel like the hardest part of my podcast is just like, not that it's hard to find people who like are interested in wanting to be on, like, or finding, you guys come back on, or like another person who's been on before. It's just like scheduling all of that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
It's a pain. It's like, you're like, I wish I had a secretary.
We were just talking about the other day, like, we need a producer, dude, because like like all this technical shit we we had a guest last week that this episode hasn't dropped yet, but we had Poke Preet on, who's kind of like a TikTok.
Oh, he's been on my podcast, yeah.
Oh, yeah. He was great. That was our first time meeting him and getting a chat with him. He was awesome. And we had so much fucking technical difficulty setting it up because we have a new mixer, because we had a third guest in studio, so I had to go out and buy a new mixer and new microphones and like all of this new stuff to like set up for a third guest because we've only ever had 2. Yeah. And so like, I don't know, none of us are professionals. Like, I'm a history teacher. Like, I don't know what the fuck I'm doing.
I like a background with some gaming streaming, but that's about it.
So like we were just like lamenting, like, dude, if we had like a producer, this would be so much fucking easier. Like somebody that could like actually handle. Bro. No, I know. I wish I had money for anything, like a secretary, a producer, an editor. Literally anything would make my life a lot easier. And I don't even do half the shit you do. So
it's like with Joe Rogan. Like we need like a Jamie. I'm talking about like with
that guy in the booth. Yeah,
we need just Jamie in the background.
Tim Pool has one of those guys too. Just like
they all do. They all do.
Well, yeah, they're smart. They have a guy that do all this bullshit for them. But yeah,
they also have money.
Yeah, I mean,
that's fair. They also have money.
It's easy when you're even just like if imagine like going to a studio, someone's there, they like set all the levels, do all the stuff, like record, they walk out, you do the recording, and then you
leave,
press stop, and then you just do nothing, and then it's just on the internet. Like,
you're just the talent.
3 days later.
Yeah, like I wonder how much how much does Mark Maron do? You have this editing, like. I don't know if you guys listen to the Mark Maron podcast. He's like one of the bigger podcasters. Like, how much
did he just end his podcast?
WTF with Mark Maron? It just ended?
I thought that he's announced he's ending it.
Oh, that's a bummer because he was like one of the first. He's been doing it for
I think like it's 12 years or something he's been on. I think he said he's going to be ending the podcast. I mean, he'll probably do a different podcast. Like it's more like. But yeah, I'm sure these guys, and the thing too is, I don't want, and when I first started doing this, I didn't really know how to do it. I just taught myself by watching YouTube videos, like how to edit stuff. And so at first I was doing it where I was like editing it super heavily, where like every and like making it like sound like you're the NPR podcast. And I had some like friends being like, don't do that. Like it doesn't sound as good. It sounds more fun if it's like conversational. And so it made my life a million times easier. The only thing you're really editing is like,
that's funny.
Just some noise, like the standard kind of stuff. And it just sounds a million times better. Like I don't know if you ever listened to Chapo Trap House. I'm sure they don't do any editing of anything except for just, Like I've actually had their producer Wade, can't think of his name at the moment, on my podcast a few times. And I think I really would love to get like some of their other hosts of Chapo on, but like I'm sure they don't do a lot. It's like they're pumping out the podcast like the day after they record it.
Yeah. And I mean, we're pretty quick, like for at least for the audio version, because like but like you said, I was like you. The early days, the first few, I was going in, I was listening to each of our tracks individually and like clipping them for like just the inhale of breath before each sentence and stuff. And I was like doing so much, and it was taking so long because I would do that entire thing with your track, then I do it with the entire thing with my track. So I was listening to the podcast, like I would listen to the entire episode like 4 or 5 times by the time I was done, because then I would like put them together and listen to it again, and then eventually I was just like, what am I doing? Like I would just like, if one of us like coughs into the mic, I'll cut that. Or if when we touch them, you got to get rid of that. But apart from that,
I think when you start getting good at like even knowing the waveform sometimes.
I can see when you touch it, I know what that waveform looks like of touching a mic versus talking into a mic. And I just can cut those. So
I think we've also gotten better with like touching.
We don't touch the mics anymore.
We'd move them around a lot because like I've like OCD about where it is exactly with my fucking face.
Oh, you're a mouth noiser for sure.
But it's also like when you have guests too, like that might be nervous and they're like, I just picked up a pen, like illustrate, like they're like clicking or something, and
well, that's why I asked you if you could bring your audio track, because like for exactly that, like if I don't have you do that from you, then I only have all 3 of us in one track, and that makes these things impossible to edit.
Without the individual tracks, it's just
because if like you were clicking a pen while I was saying that, then I would just go into Audition, and because I use Adobe Audition, and I would just silence your track for that. So
he'll clean up the audio, and then he'll send the audio.
I clean up the audio, and then I send it to Kanan, and Kanan splices the audio with the video, and so it's like a team effort here. We tag team it.
Got it.
Yeah, I'm the audio guy. He's the video guy. That's our roles.
Yeah.
Well, let me get back to talking about your podcast, because I have a couple more questions for you.
Oh, please.
This is a question. If you're a longtime listener, you know what I'm about to ask. What radicalized you? Like, what I always say is that Marxism is probably a position that you're born with, although you wouldn't call it Marxism, but just altruism and wanting to share is a trait for children, and then it gets beaten out of you, and then there has to be some galvanizing or catalyzing event late in your life to bring you back to that. And almost always that's like one memorable event. Not always, but for most people, there is this one thing they can point to of like, it was this era or it was this thing. And so I like to ask and talk about that. What was your thing? What radicalized you, Evan?
So it's interesting you say it in that way, like where it was like an instant event, or like you have like a path, and then like something has to like almost like a match has to be struck to like light that fuse. And I was thinking back to like when I was in college, I had a bunch of friends that were more liberal, some like even more conservative, and I didn't like think about it that much. It was sort of like we would just joke around. I'd make fun of him for like wanting to be in Iraq or something, and he would be like, "Oh, you stupid socialist," and I think it would often be this kind of like him joking around, like calling me a communist or a socialist before I even like had the concept of like what that really meant. And so like for years, I sort of like was always way more liberal in my mind than anyone I knew, but I didn't have like the terminology or the concepts or any of these things to really realize what that was. Like, oh, like we should help people. We should, shouldn't be doing imperialism. But I didn't know what the word imperialism really meant, like, in a way. And I feel like it was slightly before like the pandemic, like 2020, that I started reading more. I started listening to like leftist podcasts, not really understanding the concept. And then there was like a local, it was not really a university. It's more like an online education class where you can basically sign up. It's like $200 for a class. You meet online, because it was right at the beginning of COVID, like June 2020. And they were holding a session literally called Class on Class. So like they're going to read Marx, they're going to read Engels, they're going to read, all these different early thinkers. I'm like, I'm just going to, what the hell? I'm going to do this, see what's up. Like maybe it'll kind of make sense with what I've been thinking about. Literally after the very first class, I'm like, I think I'm a Marxist. Yeah. And like, it was literally just like the light bulb went off in my mind. Like I read the material. I'm like, holy shit. this is like the kind of thing I've been thinking about, but I just had no words to describe it. I think that's probably a lot of people out there that don't realize that they are far more radical than they might think. Like they're like, oh, I'm very liberal, I'm very left. And I don't know, the light bulb went off, and then I'm like reading Mao and Stalin and Lenin, and not just in this class. I'm just like, I bought like these books behind me, like So I would say it wasn't like a specific event, but I guess you could say that the COVID pandemic led me to like reading more, and then just like, what am I going to do at this time? I'm going to take this online class. Boom, So
yeah, that's cool.
I feel like a lot of people just don't understand what like leftism is, right?
Yeah,
because like I've always had people like, oh, it's like, oh, are you on like the left, or like, are you Democrat? I'm like,
those aren't the same thing.
Yeah, and it's like, how many times have they explained to people like Democrats are right wingers? They're like, what are you talking about? I was like, they're liberals.
If you want to be the most generous, you can call them centrists.
I call them center right. Right? These people are on the center right. They're like, what do you mean? It's like, are they socialists? Are they anti-capitalist? It's like, no. Well, then they're not leftist. Yeah. Anything left of center is anti-capitalism.
Yeah.
Bernie Sanders is a centrist in most European countries, like on a political spectrum.
Yeah, we've talked about that before. Of like, Bernie Sanders is like a moderate in like a lot of European countries, because, or like a centrist, because like in America he's like viewed as some, well, not so much anymore, but some crazy radical, and it's just like, which is like, if you're actually like politically kind of aware, how silly that is. But no, that's cool, and I totally take your meaning, and I take your point that like, it's very eye-opening. I think people are more radical than they think they are. And a case in point of this is my spouse. Like, because I've been a Marxist-Leninist for a long, long time, or 5 or 6 years or whatever. Not a long, long time, but a while. Just kind of pre-COVID or just around COVID too. Was like when I finally like, I was always like a socialist or whatever, but like I truly became like a tanky during COVID. And then my spouse has always kind of been more like, well, I'm a socialist, but I'm not like, a Stalinist, or I'm not a tanky or anything. And I'm like, I kind of think you are. And like, because every time they say something, I'm like, that's something a tanky would say. But they've always said that they're not as radical as I am. They're like, well, I'm not as militant or as radical as you. And I'm like, I think you are. As well. Yeah. I think you are. Yeah. And your wife's the same way. And it's like, because I've had conversations with her. It's like, yeah, you are. You just don't like know you are yet. Or like maybe you just haven't like admitted that to yourself. Because like, I don't know. But just now, recently, my spouse has been like, open to it and be like, okay, yeah, no, I get it.
I think you can only be a revisionist for so long, until you become like, fuck this shit, and start burning shit, start torching it up.
I gotta tell a story. Oh no, sorry.
I think that like I was just gonna say like the part that I think I actually would like the context I realized would actually slightly not improve the story, like makes more sense. Like in 2016 when Trump was elected the first time, I joined the DSA in New York, and mostly because I didn't support the Democratic Party. I'm like, fuck them. Look what they did to Bernie Sanders kind of shit. So I guess actually, if you boil it down, it might have been Bernie Sanders being forced out in 2016 more than anything that like led me to join the DSA, which then led me to being more of what I would have considered a DemSoc at the time, and then getting to there. So I guess it's like those two events. One to the other.
Fair enough. Yeah. And that's the pipeline that like most people answer with is Bernie to COVID to Mark ML. Like that's the breadcrumbs that kind of roundabout for the most part what people say, which is like, I mean, and that's great. I mean, like that is a very catalyzing, very radicalizing event. Like the summer of 2020 is a very polarizing time in American history.
My wife works in a museum, and most of the people she works with are like liberal to more left, I would say. I don't think any of them are like maybe Marxist per se, but several of them listen to the Bind podcast, and which surprised me in a way, just because I don't know, they didn't know that. And then one of them was like, I found that was much more radical, like, very pro-Palestine, doesn't like talk about it at work. I think it's more like one of those, I don't either. I work in like a very corporate environment where I just try not to, I don't know, get fired kind of thing, I guess you could say. And so I asked one of them, they wanted to be on the podcast. They're like, oh, I've been listening for like, 8 months, I couldn't, finally you've asked me to be on your podcast. I'm like, oh shit, I didn't know, any of these things. And like, that's, I always kind of find it interesting when someone I don't think even finds that interesting or whatever to listen. So
my coworkers told me they watched my podcast. Like what?
Yeah. Well, okay.
I just personally don't care. Like I work in a corporate sphere too. It is like a biomedical corporate sphere, but I have Karl Marx on my office wall.
Yeah.
You know,
I mean,
and-
I have a USSR flag in my classroom. Nobody gives a shit. But I work at the most progressive, like, liberal school in the world, and so like everyone there is liberal, and so like, or at least everyone there is like left of center. Not I don't know. A lot of them are liberal. Some of them are leftists. Some of them get it. Some of them are like pretty pro-union. They might not be like staunch anti-capitalist, but they're pretty like pro-union and anti-democratic party people. Some of them are third party. Some of them are like Jill Steiners or whatever. So like they all kind of get it loosely. But I'm obviously by far like the most radical person there. But I have a couple of my coworkers that listen to the podcast, and they this I will cut. So yeah, podcast. People listening to the podcast. That's cool. I respect that.
Yeah, it's surprising. It's surprising.
Yeah, it surprised me that your mom listens.
Yeah, my mom. Dude, I told my mom about like we read Parenti. She's like, I want to read it too. She reads Parenti. Like I see her a month later. I've read all three. I've read 3 Parenti books. I'm like, what? My mom has read more than I have. Like, what's going on?
Well, what's next for you, Evan? What do you got on the horizon? Any cool movies that you can talk about that you are going to be doing? I know you just finished up. Or you haven't finished the Andor series yet? You have 2 more episodes?
I have. I'm record. So I've done. We did for the season 1 in 2 episodes. It's like it's also one of those things like I always think about these like, you know, how long does someone want to typically listen to an episode? Like if it's about a show, do you want to listen to 4 episodes about one season?
Mm-hmm.
Is that too much? So I'm like I never know these things. You know, I just wing it. So I did 2 episodes on season 1 of Andor, and now I'm doing 4 episodes on season 2. So each one is 3. Once you eventually watch it, each set of 3 episodes is kind of like almost like an individual movie,
like self-contained
in a way.
Okay.
Like it's sort of like they're meant to be taken as like one little grouping. So I have 2 more episodes to do on Andor. That's kind of coming up soon. I'm trying to think of what else I have. I've got I don't have any like crazy. I actually was supposed to do. I had need to reach out to Poke Preet. Actually, we were thinking of doing the movie Jojo Rabbit. I don't know if you've seen.
Oh
that.
yeah, well Taika Waititi, yeah, a big fan.
Yeah, we're thinking of doing that. I had messaged him. I just need to get back to him. One of those things too, where you were saying like you have to follow up with someone, like remember to like we had this chain. Like it's on TikTok, and I don't go on TikTok anymore, so I always forget to go look.
He's
So I
on
have that
Instagram.
coming up.
You don't know
What's that?
Taika Waititi? Oh, sorry, you're saying Poker Preet's on Instagram.
Is he on Instagram?
Yeah, he's on Instagram.
That's how
He has
we
2 separate accounts.
That's how we contact him. I think is most.
Oh, then I should just do that and stop like making my life so difficult.
Yeah, it's like that's how I contacted him.
You should see Jojo Rabbit. It's funny.
Jojo Rabbit. I've never even heard of it.
It's about World War II. It's about Hitler. It's about like it's about a lot of things, but it's by Taika Waititi. He's a New Zealand filmmaker. He made like the Thor movies, the most recent Thor movies. That's kind of like more recently, but he's done like a bunch of like older stuff, like What We Do in the Shadows, Hunt for the Wilder People, Jojo Rabbit. What else did he do? He didn't do Bear versus Shark, did he? That was something else. I don't know. He's done a bunch of like independent films in New Zealand and stuff. They're all great.
Yeah.
And he's really
It's
funny.
a very weird movie. It's like sort of like World War II, where a boy is sort of like friends with Hitler.
Yeah, it's his imaginary friend is Hitler. So it's like,
Oh my
but it's
God.
like a zany comedy. But he's also hiding a Jewish kid, and his this girl is Jewish, and she's hiding in his house. And so he's trying to hide her, and she's like, and it's like they're learning a lot. But Taika Waititi is famously like known for like he's like, what did he say? What was the quote? Somebody asked him if he did any research because he plays Hitler in the movie, the imaginary friend Hitler, and I forget the quote exactly, but a reporter or somebody asked him like what kind of research he did to like prepare for the role of playing Hitler, because that's kind of like, you know, this historical figure.
Yeah.
And he said he absolutely did no research because, quote, fuck that guy. And so like he just wings it. He's just like a New Zealand comedy actor playing Hitler, and it's just very funny.
Absolutely.
Yeah. But I mean, like, Stephen Merchant's in it. It's like who's his
It's good.
Scarlett Johansson is his who's his mom? I forget, but anyway, it's
Scarlett
good.
Johansson was my mom.
It's good, man. Watch Jojo Rabbit. It's funny. Watch all of
Yeah,
that.
recently I've been trying. I mean, maybe not like when I say recently, I mean like in the last couple months, I've been trying to do just more. I know, like fun movies and less serious movies, just because, like, you know, you just need that kind of brain break of dissecting like really serious movies. I don't know, it takes more out of you.
Sure.
Like we did True Romance, like that's not really. I mean, it's not serious. It's more fun, you know,
Yeah.
kind of thing.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, I just did one on that's coming out actually next week or this week. You know, it's with Pearl's Pod. We did The Wind That Shakes the Barley. Have you seen that?
I haven't seen that, but I am familiar with it.
I would highly recommend it. It's a very depressing movie. It's
Yeah.
very sad.
Well,
It's
no,
about
I know.
the Irish Civil War.
Yeah, it does fuck with your head. That's the what's his name? The Irish guy.
Cillian Murphy.
Cillian
Oh,
Murphy's
and
in it.
Liam.
Neeson.
No, it's the younger guy. Oh no, I'm thinking of Barry Kogan, but that's Cillian Murphy, not Barry Kogan. Yeah.
Yeah, Cillian Murphy,
Cillian Murphy's in it. I watched one of
Okay.
those like GQ career videos on YouTube. I like those where they take an actor and they we'll just talk about the career. He talked about that a lot too. And then I wanted to watch that. I think Barry Kogan was also in like an Irish Civil War movie. Maybe I'm just thinking of Banshees of Inisherin. I don't know. Anyway,
And also Liam Cunningham is in it too, for people who are Game of Thrones fans.
Yeah, it's
Remember
Davos,
him
right?
Probably. Yeah,
He's
he's
a
also
badass.
like super. Yeah, pro Palestine.
yeah, following his
big
stuff
time.
on Twitter, he's just like calling out Nazis and calling out like Zionists on Twitter and stuff.
I
He's
love
just,
it.
he's
I
just
love
some Irish
Oh,
actor.
the Conor McGregor tweet. Did you see that?
Yeah,
one?
that was what I'm talking about. There was this exchange between with him and Conor McGregor. He said something about like he's getting his ass beat or tapping out or whatever. I forget. It was just very funny. Yeah.
And then Conor McGregor actually deleted his tweet because he just like was getting whipped so badly.
Got ratioed to
wow.
non-existence. That's pretty
Hell
funny.
yeah.
Yeah.
Have you guys watched Handmaid's Tale yet?
The first like 3 seasons, but I fell off.
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I'm about to finish the second season.
Oh, okay.
I
Where are you
decided-
at in it?
literally the last episode.
No, like what's going on? I don't remember. It's been a couple years.
She just gave birth to her baby.
Oh, okay. Yeah. So
And
you're
they
they're,
got
they're in
taken away.
Gilead, and it's
and then and then she whatever what's her name, Sweeney, the actress. You guys know Sweeney, right?
Sydney Sweeney.
Yeah.
Oh, Jessica Sweeney.
no,
Jessica Sweeney.
the fucking like
Wait.
everybody's a heartthrob for her right now.
Sydney Sweeney.
Sydney Sweeney.
Sydney.
Sydney
I
Sweeney.
spotted. I said Jessica. That's what I meant.
Yeah, it's okay. I got confused. Anyways,
Sydney
yeah, they
Sweeney's
just
in
they-
Handmaid's Tale.
yeah. She got married to Nick the driver. Yeah. She.
That's Sydney Sweeney.
Yeah, that's Sydney Sweeney.
I didn't know who Sydney Sweeney was when I watched that. Yeah, she's like the maid lady.
Yeah.
She's like the kid.
Well, she's the kid that married Nick.
I didn't know that was Sydney Sweeney.
Yeah. Anyways, she fell in love with like the neighbor, and they got caught with adultery. So they literally threw her into
In the
fucking
pool, right?
pool.
Yeah.
They drowned her to death.
Okay, that was Sydney Sweeney. I didn't
We
even
have
know.
I have a fucking inside joke with her because like every time I saw her, like I've never. This is like the earliest like show or movie or whatever that I've seen of her. But like
Yes,
the way that she's like protruding her teeth and standing there, it was like I already have like this accent in my head. It's like oi, let me clean your chimneys.
Super Cockney.
Yeah, just super
I
cockney.
had no idea she was in that show.
I didn't
Yeah.
either. Are we spoiling?
I haven't seen it.
Are we slightly spoiling Handmaid's Tale for you? Sorry.
That's okay.
Yeah,
Anyway,
it's great.
did
I mean,
read
it's a
the
good
book.
show. It went on for too long though. Like
Really?
I fell off like
But
in season 3 or 4
season
or
6
something.
is the last show.
Dude,
Oh, that's the last
I
season.
fell off season 4 or 5. I forget when, but I don't know.
Okay, yeah, I'm about to finish season 2 now. I'm loving it right
yeah,
now.
it
I
just-
like it because it's like a political drama, you know.
Yeah, it just goes on for too long.
yeah.
it was a relatively short book, and like that was it. And it did not need 6 seasons of television.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
But yeah, just for context, it's pretty much what would happen if like a super hyper ultra conservative Christian Christo-fascist kingdom took over the US. And
Have
like,
you read the book?
Yeah, I've read the
Oh,
book.
okay.
Oh, okay, then I don't need to explain it to you then. But yeah, it's honestly I like it.
Yeah, it's good. I like everyone in it too. I love Elizabeth Moss, the main actress.
Yeah.
She was great in Mad Men. She's cool in Invisible Man. Have you seen Invisible Man?
I saw the new one. Yeah,
Are they going on with the Universal monster movies? Like I know the Mummy.
I think they are. They have
Mummy
there's
flopped.
I know there's
Wolfman
another King Kong.
is like it. Yeah, there's that. There's like the Monarch, whatever. But like they just did a Wolfman movie, didn't they? Or am I making that up?
That Wolfman movie was terrible. I don't know if that's part of the same group though.
Or was it not part of the same universe? I just want that original monster movie universe of like Creatures of the Black Lagoon, Invisible Man, Mummy, Frankenstein, Bride of Frankenstein. They started that whole franchise with Tom Cruise, and then Javier Bardem was supposed to be in it, and like whatever. But then like that whole thing got scrapped because it was bad. But
Well, Del Toro is doing the new Frankenstein movie.
okay,
Not Del Toro. Yeah.
Guillermo del Toro.
Wait. Yes, Guillermo del
Benicio
Toro,
del
not
Toro.
Benicio del
Okay.
Toro.
When you said Del Toro, I thought Benicio, and I was like, okay, that's interesting. But then it was like, oh, horror director.
He has the
probably
Frankenstein
Guillermo
movie,
del
but it's going to be a Netflix movie, so it's not going to probably be in the theaters widely, which sucks.
Toro. Yeah,
Which I could spend a long time complaining about that, but
yeah.
How do you
I
guys
digress.
remember so many names?
I may be autistic. I don't know.
I don't know. I think we're all a bit autistic, but like I don't know, man. Like you've named off like more movies in this fucking session here alone than I think I've ever watched. Period.
You know, that's like I may come off. Well, I may probably don't come off as like politically savvy because I come off like an idiot. But like movies are my first love. I wanted to make a movie podcast for years. I tried to get my friends to make a movie podcast. I still want to do this. I still have the idea for it. I think I even still have the email for it. I wanted to make a movie podcast where it was the IMDb's top 250, and every week you just watch one of those in order, starting from the bottom, working your way up. And it was just called The Road to 250, and you just start with like whatever's number 250. So whatever, you have to snapshot it because it changes when new movies get released. So you have to kind of like screenshot it at any given time. So it's like, as of whatever, June 11th, 2025, this is the list we're going with. And so like, and just watch all those movies. There's a lot of practical problems with that. Is one, it would take forever, and two, it's like limited. You're going to run out eventually. And also it's boring. Like some of those movies suck, but you know, most of them are good. So
I mean, a movie a week, 52 movies, 5 years plus or minus movies that get added onto it. I mean, you're probably looking like a 3-year podcast. If you're
I just thought that'd be so fun. But I've seen
the podcast that
so
I was gonna say, like, there's a podcast I really like. It's called Podcasty for Me, and they go through different. They first started with Clint Eastwood and basically just did every Clint Eastwood movie in order. That's from awesome. Oldest to newest, and then they went to Paul Schrader and did all Paul Schrader movies, and now they're doing what are they doing now? The one who did the Ocean's 11.
George Clooney?
No, the director.
I'm blanking on his name at the moment.
Steven Soderbergh.
Starts with an S.
Steven Soderbergh.
Yes. Soderbergh.
You're talking about
so they're doing his movies now, and so it's kind of, I like that because they're kind of.
Yeah, I like his movies.
I guess some of them have a lot of, like, Clint Eastwood had a lot of movies. Some of these guys, but it's like 20, 30 movies. You know, it takes you a year maybe for each
like genre, each
director,
thing,
and you got like really deep into the mind of that person, which is, I think it's a clever idea for.
That would be cool. Yeah. There's certain directors that I really respect. Like, I'd like to do that for, like, although I don't know if he still holds up. Like Edward Zwick, he did like Glory and The Siege and Last Samurai. I used to love those movies, but now I don't know. Now that I think about Last Samurai and Glory, I wonder if they're problematic or like just pedantic and kind of pandering. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I've also considered doing like a month where I do 4 movies from like a specific director. Like, you know, last May I really wanted to do 4 Michael Mann movies and be like Michael Mann May.
That's great.
I just didn't do it. I didn't do it.
Yeah.
I mean,
after Heat, what else are you gonna really do?
Oh, I mean, I love Black Cat actually.
Oh,
okay, I don't know if you've seen that.
Yeah,
Black Cat, and I think I've done Thief. I haven't done Thief. Yeah.
Didn't Michael Mann write a novel that's his official sequel to Heat? He made Heat 2, but he wrote the book.
Yeah, they're finally making it.
They're making it?
They're
finally
like,
it? Have you seen Heat?
It's like early, hasn't filmed or anything.
You should watch Heat.
Okay.
That's a classic, like cat and mouse. Like you've probably seen the bank robbery scene with Val Kilmer and Al Pacino or Robert De Niro. Like, it's like the LA bank shootout.
Pacino's in it too. Like, it's the only movie. It was the first time Pacino and De Niro were in a scene together in a movie.
Well, I might have when I was.
It's
younger.
great. Yeah, Dennis Haysbert, Danny Trejo, Val Kilmer.
Okay.
It's awesome. Yeah, it's cool.
I know Danny Trejo.
Yeah.
Henry Rollins is in it.
Henry Rollins is in it. Hank Azaria is in it too.
You know what? I think I remember when we were doing the True Romance movie. I think I had asked you, like, if True Romance had like the most stacked cast, like from top to bottom, and I had just done the Heat episode. I was like, maybe
Heat.
These two are like competing with each other for just like end to end star power.
All right.
Well,
we should watch more movies.
Yeah,
we should do a movie episode.
Well, we can.
I just want a movie podcast. Let's start a second podcast where we just do movies. That's my true love. That's my true passion. I just love movies. I don't watch. I haven't even seen Sinners yet, man. Like, I didn't have the time.
Yeah.
I got to go see Sinners. Have you seen Sinners yet?
I have. I've seen it 3 times actually.
It's really great, right? I've heard nothing but good things.
Yeah, it's very, very good. Yeah.
Oh, did you see Denzel Washington got cast in Black Panther 3?
Black Panther 3 as who? The Black Panther?
I don't know.
He's going to be moving. How old is he now? Like 55, 60?
He's got to be 60.
He's got to be way older than 60. Yeah.
He's got to be like the
Pushing
Black
70,
Panther,
yeah.
and it's like gives him eternal.
I mean, I don't know what it is, but Brian, I'm
like,
not a big. I've kind of like fallen off of Marvel. Like, I've kind of soured on Marvel, but I'll give Ryan Coogler a chance no matter what he does. So
He's 70.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
my
Probably, I would assume he had to be close to 70. Let me just fact check myself.
I didn't know they didn't know they had gotten the part 3. For some reason, I thought that Coogler was only going to produce it, not direct it. But maybe I'm wrong about that.
Yeah, I mean, that'd probably be a smart career move for him because of 2. Yeah, so Denzel Washington and Ryan Gosling apparently is going to be the Black Panther.
I feel like Ryan Gosling is in every movie.
Ryan Gosling can't be the Black Panther. He's a white man. That's not gonna work.
He's gonna pull a Tropic Thunder.
Dude, I don't know.
Oh God.
Oh my God. Have you watched the second season of Rings of Power?
No, I haven't watched the first season of Rings of Power.
I watched half of season 2 and I stopped watching it.
Was it that bad? I haven't watched season 2 yet.
I didn't like it. No.
So I was with Wheel of Time. I watched the first half.
I was willing to give the first season a shot, and I enjoyed it from just like a spectacle perspective.
Yeah.
I didn't love a lot of the plot.
Well, it's a
And the
prequel
season
with
2
Galadriel, right?
What?
It's a sequel with Galadriel, and that's what it's about.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, it's about how basically it's staged basically on Numenor.
Mm.
And it's like supposed to be the second age, and it's the background story is basically how Sauron, heads to
It's
Numenor.
a young Sauron,
Yeah.
like young Sheldon,
Yeah.
but young Sauron.
Shape-shifting Sauron that tries to get them to create the three
Not
rings
for me,
of
man.
power.
I saw the. I
I did purposely not watch the second season. I just like stopped, and I just sort of was like, I'm not that motivated to finish it.
Yeah.
At some point,
There's
maybe
just
I
too
will.
I haven't
much-
even been that motivated to watch the second.
There's too
season.
much content, man.
I'm trying to read books, man. I'm so far behind. I ordered this book last February, Yaris Varoufakis,
Okay.
right?
God bless you.
And it's called Techno Feudalism.
Oh yeah.
Right? I started reading it. I'm almost done. It's only a 180 page
But that's
book.
like a dense topic though too. So
It's
like,
yeah, but it's a 180 page book. It's been a year and a half. That's how long it's taken me to read that goddamn book. And I'm like 15 pages left, and I want to start State and Revolution because I've actually never read it. I've
No.
listened to it on audiobook.
I read
when
it
read
once in 2020. Yeah.
Yeah, so I want to finish State and Revolution, and then I want to read this. But now I'm thinking I might just skip State and Revolution
Skip State and Rev.
to read
You,
this.
you should
so-
definitely read State and Rev. It's good. It's also
Absolutely.
you want my copy or you
I
have,
have
a copy?
one.
Okay. Yeah.
hard copy.
Oh, nice. I wanted to ask you a quick question, Evan. The most recent movie I watched. Let me ask you what's the most recent movie you watched? Not for the I guess let me ask you twice. What for the podcast and just in your personal life?
The most recent movie I watched for my podcast was Inside Llewyn Davis.
Oh yeah, okay.
I just recorded an episode actually last night on it. So that was the last one I watched
I haven't seen
in
that, though.
preparation for an episode. And then the most recent movie I watched in general was I guess it's like the Predator prequel Prey.
Prey's so good. Do you like it?
Oh, fucking loved
Dude.
it. It is honestly, I was actually having a conversation with someone whether it could be better than the original. And I
think it
think it's probably a better end-to-end movie. Like maybe in my like brain, the original, I've just seen it so many times. It's like it's iconic, but like plot-wise, character-wise, the new one is Prey is better.
Yeah.
Like a better.
Yeah, I'm really excited. They're making a sequel to that, right? No.
Yes, and they also just released Killers of Killers, which is like a
That's the animated show. Yeah.
I watched that as well. Or not? It's not a show. It's actually a movie with 3 different plots. I don't want to give it away. Like 3 plots that they connect.
One of the, but it's like a samurai, and then like
A samurai, a guy in World War II,
World
War II, and I just literally just watched this like 2 days ago.
The reason I ask is I wanted to hear your take on that, and yeah, I was going to mention this at the beginning. That was actually what it popped out to me was Prey is doing what the Terminator franchise should have done, which is just like course correct and just like make a good movie. And it's just so good. Prey is so good, and I'm really excited for this.
Like a prequel movie. Like
Anything.
a prequel
Well, that's the cool thing about Terminator is that the Terminator franchise is literally about time travel. How cool would that be if they did a similar thing? And there's an Australian movie podcast called Weekly Planet, and this guy's been ranting about this for like years, where he's saying like make a Terminator movie, but like put it on like in like the 17th century like British East India, whatever. Like that's where they decide to go. So you have a bunch of guys with muskets trying to take down this like robot, and it's like that would be an interesting dynamic. And like it does not need to be this like crazy techno like nanobots every time. It's like just your premise is good. And Prey proved that then a couple of years after that guy had said it for Terminator by doing it, of just like send a predator back to like a Native American tribe in America, in North America, and then like make them fight with their weapons of their conventional time. And like it's so good. And like Terminator has that potential because it's literally about time travel and about fighting. So like just do that too. But yeah. I don't know. It's a little late for that now. I just watched The Accountant 2 yesterday because
I want to see it, but I haven't seen The Accountant 1, and I'm like, I keep being like, I got to go see the first one to make.
I will say, Accountant 1 is like one of my guilty pleasure movies. It's a lot better than you think it would be.
I don't know, man. Like naming something Accountant Once just sounds like the
It's just
world's
called The
most
Accountant.
boring movie.
It's called The Accountant. It's basically like Ben Affleck's answer to John Wick. Ben Affleck went to his producer and was like, I want a John Wick movie, and that they made that. And I will say,
Accountant.
it's pretty good, dude. It's got Andrew Kendrick. It's got J.K. Simmons. It's like a great movie. And then Accountant 2 kind of basically is like a very similar story. It's a little more action-packed-y than the first one. The first one's a little more like forensic, like investigative kind of, and then action. But this one's like all action. But it's good. It's good. Check it out.
Ben Affleck.
Ben Affleck. I love Ben Affleck, dude. Ben Affleck will always have my love.
Affleck.
You know what movie I was just making a list of my favorite movies from like the 2010s, and one of them was Gone Girl.
Gone Girl's
with
so
Ben
good.
Affleck. Oh, such a good movie. It's
Ben Affleck is
it's like a hiddenly awesome.
he's an
movie.
underrated director, man. Like, because he did Gone Baby Gone too, right? With Casey Affleck and Michelle Monaghan. I think he directed that, and he's directed like really great movies. And like,
Who was it that
maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he
did
direct
Good
that.
Will Hunting?
Oh no, Gone Girl's David Fincher.
Oh, that was David Fincher. Okay, never
Who's the
mind.
one that did Good Will Hunting?
Ben Affleck and Matt Damon. Yeah, they wrote and directed that too.
Okay, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe.
No, he did Argo, which I think is a good movie. He's a good director. I think he's a better director than like
An actor.
He's probably a better director than he is an actor, but I think he's a better director than people give him credit for. I think he's definitely a slept-on director.
His constant like his sort of mode as an actor in like movies where he's kind of serious. I feel like he's a kind of the same kind of guy, like kind of like a douchey.
Tom Cruise.
He's never really likable.
Yeah.
You know.
I think he's got that syndrome where it's like if it's him, you know it's him, and it's like he's just so he is like a brand unto himself, and so like you can't not see just Ben Affleck. I think Tom Cruise is the same way. Oh, he made The Town, which I loved.
The Town is
this
great.
says Gone Baby Gone. Oh no, I'm thinking of Gone Baby Gone, not Gone Girl.
Oh,
Yeah, Gone
got
Baby
it.
Gone was directed by Ben Affleck. It was the first full length he did. It was with Casey Affleck and Michelle Monaghan, and
The Town is great though.
The Town is great. Yeah, if you haven't seen Gone Baby Gone, check it out. It's actually about Boston. It's about children that go missing in Boston. So but it's very dark.
Oh, I have seen that.
Yeah,
I have
and Casey
seen that
Affleck is a
movie.
private
Yes.
investigator trying to find this missing kid that was
Yeah,
kidnapped.
I did see
And that was Ben Affleck's first feature film that he directed, and like it's
Yeah.
amazing. So like,
What's that one right wing movie that was about like, oh God, it was like I think it was last year. It was a right wing movie that was about like child predation, whatever.
Huh?
Oh, and was that the one where they bought they tried to like buy tickets to make the theaters seem full? Or something?
Yeah. Oh, what was that called?
I remember. I don't know what that was called.
I don't know what
I
you're
gotta
talking
look this
about.
up. I gotta look this up.
I wouldn't like watch that because I'm sure it's terrible.
Well, like all the people that are on there, you're like, these are the people trafficking children. Like, what?
Yeah.
it's like literally like the people from like the Daily Caller, like in the movie.
Yeah, like
the
it's-
Daily
it's-
Wire, like those
the Daily
guys.
Wire.
Oh.
Or Daily Wire.
I
yeah,
think
whatever
they
the-
funded the movie.
I know the one that they did was like the trans woman playing basketball.
Sound of Freedom.
Oh, Sound of Freedom. Okay.
Yeah,
I know what you're talking about. Yeah. Oh yeah, because there's a guy I like in that. He's like a character actor. He usually plays like, I don't know, like a bureaucrat or like whatever. What's his name?
Cast. Let's see. Jim Caviezel, Eduardo Verastegui. I don't know. Bill Camp.
Bill Camp is one of the guys I'm talking about, but that's not
His
the
name
guy.
is Vampiro. What? Oh my god.
Okay. Well, I'm talking about
It's kind
Kurt
of amazing
Fuller.
they got like
Kurt Fuller and Bill Camp are both like cool character actors. And I'm bummed that they'd be in that. Oh, also Mira Sorvino? That's not what I'm talking about. Never mind. I'm thinking of
I
Mina.
mean, maybe they didn't know what they were
Yeah, you got to give
getting,
actors a little bit like benefit
or
of the
they're
doubt.
just like, we need a job,
Yeah,
Scott Hayes. Yeah, I mean,
because Matthew Broderick was in Anastasia. Oh, that was another thing we were talking about recently. Is I rewatched Anastasia, and that's just anti-communist propaganda, and that's what Meg Ryan and Matthew Broderick are the voices in that. I think so. It's like,
Oh yeah.
but I didn't realize. I don't remember because I haven't seen it since I was a kid. It's like how just anti-Soviet that movie is. It's like just basically
crazy.
an hour and a half of anti-Soviet propaganda, which is just pretty funny.
I don't know if you saw they're making like a live action. Or no, it's not live action. It's a
was Jump.
a new animated animal farm.
Oh, like the
But it's directed by someone like really good, and I'm like, why?
yeah. Okay, that's questionable. We'll have to see.
so it looks like.
Directed by Andy Serkis is directing. it.
Oh, interesting.
Oh, okay. I love it.
I do too.
So I'm like, I'm
Andy Serkis is
like
in
holding
Andor.
out hope
What?
that he's going
He's
to
in
make
Andor.
it like
He's in New York.
cool somehow.
Andy Serkis is in Andor.
I gotta watch.
He's
it
in
now.
the first season. Yeah.
Yeah, I gotta watch
Um,
now.
Oh, he's really good.
He's
in it
so
too.
good in it. Yeah. Yeah, I like Andy Serkis. I'll have to see. Like, does he have like some new take on Animal Farm? We'll see.
Yeah, I'm hoping he like flips it on its head or
Yeah,
something and
I
makes it
don't know.
like pro.
Because that's a pretty anti-communist the messaging in that. I guess it's more just anti-authoritarian than communist. Like it can be.
Yeah.
It's never explicitly stated. I don't know. I'm not trying to apologize for
Well,
Animal
the
Farm.
CIA owned the rights to that movie for the longest time.
Oh, really?
They were the ones who put out the 1954
That
film,
like the animated
Animal
film?
Farm. Yep,
Yeah.
the animated film was owned by the CIA, the rights for it,
Wow.
and they wanted it essentially to be made to be anti-Soviet
That's
propaganda.
fascinating.
Crazy.
I don't know if they still own the rights to it, but they did.
By the way, for that one movie I was talking about, The Sound of Freedom, apparently it's made by Angel Studios, which is an American independent Christian media company and film distribution based in Provo, Utah.
Yeah.
So like this is like,
Oh, fuck.
and
That actually reminds me. I sometimes get emails from like usually independent movies or like independent like PR people who like send me a screener of film and be like, hey, will you watch my film and make like a TikTok video? Like this new movie that came out with Nicolas Cage called The Surfer, which is actually a pretty good movie. They're like, oh, will you watch this movie, for free and then make us a TikTok video? I'm like, sure, sometimes I'll do it. I got one from some film, like I'd never heard of this film. I Google it. It's like a Christian film trying to promote like the independence of the United States. And I went to their website and they have all these other films that are just like Christian and right-wing propaganda. And they like were reaching out to me. I'm like, did you like listen to any of my podcast
you know who I
episodes?
They probably didn't. They probably just blanketed it to everyone who has a movie podcast.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Right. And I told them no. I was like, but thank you, but no.
Thank you, but no.
Although someone told me I should have done it and just like shit
Just
on
Dude,
it.
trashed it.
absolutely.
Yeah. Well, dude, that's what I said like months ago or a year ago. I was like, we need to like have a segment in our podcast every week where we talk about movies so that I can get like added to that like press screener list or whatever. Like whatever it is that like movie podcast guys get, I want that because like that's all I want in my life. Is to
People
be,
have
like,
told me actually that
screener
I
guy.
can like reach out to like larger studios and ask them and be like, I have a movie podcast, and they'll just do
They'll
it. 'cause, like, what do they give a
they'll
shit?
send you tickets. They'll send you like press screenings for like new movies. You get to go see them on like the Wednesday before they come out. Like
Do it, man.
Yeah, and like I was looking into that because like you can get the like press screenings, like the advanced screening tickets. You can get screeners for things depending on like what it is. You can get advanced. That Australian podcast I mentioned, he got sent advanced episodes of Andor season 2. Like they sent him like
That's
Andor, like the first 2 episodes to Andor like a month early or whatever. And obviously it's like it's embargoed. His review's embargoed for like a certain amount of time or whatever. But like I'm like, dude, that would be so sick. Is to like just be on that like level of like media whatever.
and surprisingly like it's not as like it's you just have to like find the right person at different PR firms
Yeah.
just to like so the person I had on recently to do a Sinners episode, she's actually a movie critic. She does like Rotten Tomatoes and like writes for some papers. She got Andor ahead of time as well, and she's like, I keep meaning to like follow up with her, being like, oh, who's the person I can reach out to? Like, 'cause she told me she would tell me,
We got it right.
and then I could just email them, and they'll be like, I don't want Disney, fuck that
Yeah.
anymore. But like I don't care if it's something. I'll watch a free movie. that they
a
send
free
me,
copy,
fuck
something,
it.
an advanced screening of something, or just to go to the theater and check it out with just a bunch of other media people or whatever. Like that'd be awesome.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah.
just like go alone. I used to go to the movie theaters. I used to go to the movie theaters like religiously, but I'd always go Saturday morning. There was a theater in Arizona that had like showings as early as like 8:30 or something, and so that's when I would go, and it was just literally empty every morning. So it'd just be me.
That's what I actually go a lot of times on Friday mornings, like right at the like. Yes, I should be like going to work at starting at 9, but sometimes I'll go to a 9 a.m. screening, and it'll be done at like 10 or 10:30 or whatever. Go home and it's
So you work from home.
Evan, where are you?
Gotta hop on the Zoom call, this Teams call.
Yeah.
Are you on?
I'm in a Zoom call while watching like Mission Impossible.
I haven't seen the new one yet.
Are you at the movie
the final
theaters?
Mission Impossibles.
I actually did see that. Yeah, it's pretty good.
Yeah, I'm a big fan of the Mission Impossible franchise. I still think 3 is the best, but
I think I saw the first one a long time ago.
First one's
I despise Tom Cruise. I can't stand his face.
can't stand.
Every time I see his face, I just want to like either punch myself, punch him, or just throw up. I don't know which one of the 3.
I like Tom Cruise.
I like the first one the best, Mission Impossible.
Yeah, the first one's great. I think the first and third are and I don't remember like the 5th one. I think.
Yeah, because they're like the direct competitors with James Bond, right?
No, they're better than James Bond.
Are they?
They have been for a while.
Especially recent
Especially
James
recent
Bond,
James
right?
Bond.
I'd say.
Yeah. James Bond. Yeah, I got a lot to say about James Bond. Have you done all the Bonds?
I've done only one. I did Goldeneye. It's the only one.
You should.
I did it with the Bring Out Your Dead podcast.
Oh, that's fun. We should do Casino Royale.
We should do Golden Finger.
Oh, the new one, not the
original, not the Woody Allen
We should
one.
do Golden Member.
The Daniel
I
Craig.
like the Casino Royale might be like the best.
I think it's the only good Craig one. Yeah.
Yeah, I watched the most recent one, which is the Spectre, and
it's bad. Well, that's not gonna make any sense if you haven't seen the previous ones.
Yeah, no, I've seen them.
Oh, you've seen them all.
Yeah,
and the one after that also wasn't very good. Or the one before
Time
it.
to
I don't know
Die.
which
Yeah,
one.
No Time to Die was the most recent one, or Something to Die. That's one where he. Spoiler alert. Have you seen it?
No.
Oh, never mind.
Yeah, I think Golden Member.
I just didn't like them. Like the villains were actually kind of cool in some of those newer ones, but
yeah.
Austin Powers.
Dude, I'm not watching an Austin Powers movie.
Golden Member, bro.
No. I was talking to a coworker about
Well,
Austin Powers
Austin.
recently. It's like, I fucking despise Austin Powers. Like,
why?
because I hate that type of like humor, that like obscenely juvenile like humor. I cannot
I did that
stand
movie
it.
actually. With,
I
did an episode on that one. With,
I love Austin Powers. Oh my god.
With who?
With Jen from How the Red Was Won. Do you know that podcast?
I don't know that podcast.
Real her.
I don't know that one.
She's more on. I'd say she's probably more on Twitter and TikTok. Yeah. She's on Instagram too, but she posts like a lot of theory videos. She has a podcast. It's a lot
What
of
was
like
the name
theory.
again?
How the Red Was Won.
Jen. How the Red Was Won.
Okay, no.
Yeah, interesting. Okay, cool. And you did which one?
Yeah.
Austin Powers.
The original Austin Powers.
Okay.
Yeah.
How does that hold up? The original.
Pretty well. Like it's like. I'm sort of with you where it's like it's not my favorite genre of like kind of film. It's like kind of zany, but it was interesting to like read it. I hadn't seen it since like that was like I feel like one of the first like movie memes, like Austin Powers stuff.
Yeah,
you know, when I was like 12 or something. Like that was very popular.
Yeah, that's what everyone was quoting in middle school. Yeah,
I love gold.
Yeah, that was the third. That was Beyonce was in that, right?
Yeah. No,
Wild.
I would you put like what? You don't mess with the Zohan in that?
Yeah, I would put most Adam Sandler movies in that.
Yeah, I that is I don't know why, but that is one of my favorite movies of all time. So
I can't stand that movie.
You don't mess with the Zohan?
Yeah, see, I hate that. I hate like Grandma's Boy and
I'm not a big fan of
like
much of Adam Sandler.
all the Happy Madison stuff. I don't like.
I don't like any of his
yeah.
stuff. That's the only movie I like from him. The other movies are like they're all right.
Yeah.
Right? He's not even that funny. I for some reason that movie with like the premises that are going on, like playing hacky sack with cats, right? Like it's ridiculous, absolutely ridiculous. You know, there's like one portion where it's like the dude like literally picks on the smaller guy and he comes in and just like folds this guy into a pretzel. And then Nick Swanson?
Nick Schwartzen?
Schwartzen? He comes up, he's like, dude, are you bionic? And he goes, no, I only like the women.
He was like banging Nick Schwartzen's mom or
Yeah,
something.
yeah.
Oh my god, I haven't seen that movie in 20 years either. Or whenever it came out, yeah.
It's so ridiculous. That's why I love it. Same thing with Borat, and it all ended up being all fucking Zionist fuck faces.
Yeah,
it's such a shame, man.
I haven't seen Borat since it came out too, but I think that's different though. I think that is a different level of comedy in my mind. I don't know. Maybe they're not. Maybe they're the same, but I don't know.
No, Borat's not. Borat's a whole different thing. Borat.
Yeah.
I
typically.
Well, let me ask you this. Yeah. I have a question for. Well, you both can answer. If you could like, so if you come back on Left the Projector and you could pick any movie, like, you know, I'm kind of putting it on the spot. Like if you could pick a movie that's like, True Romance was like one of your favorite films. If you're going to like on the spot, think of like what movie you would want to discuss, what do you think it would be?
Well, I would say the movie I showed you earlier, just because I think it's super relevant with.
Yes, that well, remind me what it was called again. I need to look it up.
I sent you the.
Oh, you sent it
on
okay,
Instagram,
perfect.
yeah. But besides that, I would have to say just Borat, just for shits and giggles.
I think I would have to pick Cloverfield.
That's a good one too.
Cloverfield is one of my like sleeper like secret guilty pleasures, but I also think that like there's a lot to say about that movie because it spawned like what is I think genuinely an amazing sequel, and 10 Cloverfield Lane is like one of the better movies ever made, I think, and then also like one of the most shit sequels of Cloverfield Paradox, and I think like there's just it was.
Yeah,
I think there's a lot to say about Cloverfield.
It was like one of the first movies that was like POV, right?
No, I mean like Blair Witch Project was probably the first like found footage film, or at least one of the earlier.
I never watched that one, but
it's good.
It would almost be interesting to do both the prequel, both 10 Cloverfield Lane and Cloverfield, like as like a double feature.
Yeah.
And it's funny you mentioned that too, because I was just thinking about Dan Trachtenberg, who did Prey.
He did Prey,
and
yeah.
and he also he doesn't have a lot of films, but he's basically done
He did something else.
3 movies that are
What's
great.
the other one? He did another one.
He did 10 Cloverfield Lane,
Ex
Prey,
Machina?
the new Predator. No, he didn't do that.
That was
that's
Alice Garland, right? Dan
And
Trachtenberg.
then he did the new Predator, hasn't come out yet. So
I feel like
basically he's like 3 for 3.
he must have written something that I think I like. Maybe he wrote Ex Machina. Alice Garland directed it. Maybe Dan Trachtenberg wrote it. There's something else Dan Trachtenberg
might
did
have done
that's sticking in my brain. My little brain is tingling. My spider sense is tingling for Dan Trachtenberg, and I don't know why. I like him.
10 Cloverfield Lane and the other one are both really good.
10 Cloverfield Lane is great. If you have you seen any of the Cloverfield movies?
I've only seen the original one.
The original one. The second one is, I think, like genuinely a great movie. It's
rewatch them.
I almost think it's better.
I think it is better.
10 Cloverfield Lane.
I think it's the best like of that trilogy for sure. And I think it's like just genuinely a great movie. I think Cloverfield is like hit or miss. I think audiences and critics are kind of split on like whether or not it's a good movie. And Cloverfield Paradox is like, I think, objectively bad. But the second one, 10 Cloverfield Lane, is great. John Goodman's in it. Mary Elizabeth Winstead, and I forget his name, but he's in The Newsroom and he's in a bunch of TV shows. He's good too. Yeah, it's like a bottle movie. The entire movie is them in a basement in a bunker with John Goodman. So there's like, it's a very like small set.
Got it.
It's cool.
It's kind of like that one movie with what's his fucking face? The guy from the Transformers.
Shia LaBeouf.
Yes, thank you.
Disturbia?
No, it's when he has like that he gets that call about. Yeah, it's like all in like this one room where he gets a call. He's talking to the person on the phone, and you never see the person. It's just him reacting to the situations. The person's because he's like an emergency hotline. Like,
With Shia LaBeouf?
yeah.
I don't know what you're talking about. You're describing a couple different movies. One is Jake Gyllenhaal as a 911 operator.
Is it? Maybe that's what I'm thinking.
There's another movie called Buried with Ryan Reynolds where he's underground in a tomb. There's another movie with Shia LaBeouf where he keeps getting called and told what to do called Eagle Eye with Michelle Monaghan, but that movie was bad and it was like a
No, you're right.
movie.
It's Gyllenhaal.
Yeah, okay.
It's yeah.
It's funny. It made me think of the movie Phone Booth
With Colin Farrell, which is also, I think, a good movie.
Yeah.
It's kind of hokey, but I genuinely like Phone Booth.
I actually like that movie.
Yeah.
Like
I do too.
most people didn't, but I thought it was fun.
I agree. I think that's a pretty fun movie. Forrest Whitaker plays a good cop. It's good.
Also, Colin Farrell
The Day After
needs to do
Tomorrow.
more movies.
Colin Farrell's so good, dude.
Yeah.
Like, I didn't watch the Penguin series, but apart from that, I've seen, I think, pretty much everything Colin
he's
Farrell's
really
in.
good
I just watched The Gentleman again. The Guy Ritchie movie with Matthew McConaughey and what's his name, Charlie Hunnam. But Colin Farrell's in that as like this Irish boxer guy, and he's great in it. If you haven't seen The Gentleman, check it out. It's.
I also just rewatched In Bruges.
And that's one of my favorite movies.
Like, not day. It is. I saw it when I was younger, and I didn't like it. I rewatched it as an adult, or like an older person.
Yeah.
I'm like, this is just a brilliant movie.
That is like one of that. I think that is like probably my second or third favorite movie of all time. But also that director, David McConaughey, is his name?
Martin McDonagh.
Martin McDonagh. He is amazing. Like,
He also made
3 Billboards.
Banshees of Inisherin.
Yeah, he's made 3 Billboards. He did that. He did Banshees. He's done like so much great stuff, and yeah, he's awesome.
I think he's doing a new one with maybe I'm getting it wrong. I thought he was doing a new movie with Colin Farrell, but I could be wrong.
Okay. I mean, he's done almost everything.
Which I'll see. You know, like clearly they like work perfectly together.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, we can wrap this up.
You said The Gentleman.
The Gentleman, yeah, it's a Guy Ritchie movie. Guy Ritchie's pretty hit or miss. I think some of his older stuff, like Snatch and Lock, Stock, is great, but then he kind of fell off for a while. But The Gentleman is awesome. It's a return to kind of a very Lock, Stock. It's got an awesome cast. It's cool.
Oh man, now I kind of want to do In Bruges.
I would love to do In Bruges.
Whether with you or with anyone.
Yeah, I would. I could talk about In Bruges all day. Brendan Gleeson, Ray Fiennes. It's amazing. Have you seen In Bruges?
No.
It's good. It's good. It's like a dark comedy.
Okay,
Yeah.
I see. Well, I mean, this guy's always willing to talk about movies, man.
Dude, I just want to talk about movies. That's all I want to do in life.
Yeah. Well, we will discuss when we can do another.
Yeah, I don't have
movie
to. I picked
episode.
last time. You should pick this time, or you. Evan.
No, we should do the one that you were talking
Yeah,
about.
yeah. You. The Serbian film, not the Serbian film,
The
but a
Yugoslavian
Serbian film, Yugoslavian film.
Yeah, it's a Yugoslavian film. It's a commie film
Yeah, but we should definitely
against
do that.
Nazis.
Yeah,
Yeah, I think it'd be cool. 1972.
I'm into it. That's great.
Yeah.
Well, all right, Evan, we're gonna let you go because it's probably getting to be midnight there. Or a little
11,
after
but
11? Yeah.
that's okay.
We've been going for 2 hours. It's going to be kind of a nightmare to edit because we're going to have to cut some stuff. But
Yeah.
which of this is worth saving? Sorry that was kind of like a little all over the place. We didn't have a total like plan when we started this. So I just had some loose questions I want to talk to you about. But
I like it better that way, honestly. A conversational
yeah.
podcast, I feel like it's just less.
Well, I could have been a little
Unnatural.
tighter. Well, thanks so much, Evan. That was an awesome conversation. It was a little all over the place, a little meandering, and definitely a little long, but I had a great time. But I always love nerding out over movies of people who can talk about movies. And Kanan notoriously cannot hold his own in a conversation with me with movies. No offense, buddy.
No, I
I
can't.
love you, but yeah, you just don't know anything about movies, and that's okay.
Yeah, I'm not. It's not.
I think it's funny at the beginning you said like, we're not going to talk about movies. We're like, last time we talked about movies. We're not going to do that. And then
Literally, that's all we talked about. I was trying to think. I was like,
That's
well,
okay.
like, because I knew we were going to talk about L.A., and I was like, what could we talk about that's like L.A. riots? Like, should we watch like Battle for Los Angeles? Should we talk about that? And I was like, well, then no. That like, what am I doing? I'm not on his podcast. I'm on our podcast.
Yeah.
we don't have to connect it to a movie. But that got me thinking of like, what movies are there about like fighting in L.A. And I was thinking Escape from L.A., Battle Los Angeles, Heat. Yeah. Anyway. It's been a pleasure, man. Always a blast talking to you. Thanks so much for coming on.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, we'd love to go back on yours eventually. We'd also love to have you come back on
Yes.
ours. We've been talking about trying to do like some kind of like larger roundtables, like get a bunch of guys on and just like shoot the shit of like maybe do some like larger some like talking head live stream of just like, I don't know, something. We'll think about that and put that together more. But where can the people find you? Where are you available online? And all of your links will be in the description, of course. But where should the people follow you?
Yeah. You can just go to LeftoftheProjector.com and you can subscribe to whatever platform you listen to your podcasts. Some of my podcasts are on YouTube, not all of them. Mostly some of my older episodes have video and then audio wherever. And you can follow me, Left of the Projector Pod, on Instagram, Threads, TikTok, sort of. I don't really post any new content there, so might not be worth your time, but I'd say Instagram and Threads are the place I'm the most active when I'm active.
Awesome. Well, yeah, those links are definitely in the description. Be sure to check out Left of the Projector podcast. We did an episode last year on True Romance, which was a lot of fun to talk about. Again, my favorite movie. I'll always talk about True Romance with anybody that is willing to listen. Give Evan and Left of the Projector a follow. As always, you can follow us on TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter. Revolutionary Rhetoric Podcast. Revolutionary Rhetoric Podcast at gmail.com. Send us an email if you want to talk over there. We have a Discord. We have a Patreon. Patreon is free. It's just a behind the scenes and blooper stuff. Revolutionary Rhetoric. All links will be in the description. As always, the Palestinian Children Relief Fund link for donation is in our description as well. Make sure if you do want to give any money to anybody, it's somebody who needs it, like them first. Don't give us money before you give them money. And if you're going out this weekend, never mind, you're not going to hear this, but if you went out this weekend, hope you stayed safe.
Yeah. And also don't forget, if you're on the audio podcast version of either ours or Left of the Projector, don't forget to give a rating. It really helps out.
Those ratings are the like, comment, subscribing of the YouTube world of the audio podcast. So make sure those ratings, that's how that gets filtered out and promoted to more people.
Oh,
Awesome. Well, thanks so much, man. A pleasure.
Yep. Thank you for having me. It's been great.